Steve Murray.
Cloudy and cold going through the afternoon, 32 degrees, and snow and sleet will be developing by late afternoon and into the evening. This first wave doesn't last very long, an inch or less accumulation. Thursday, snow and sleet kicking back into gear Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. That should bring 2, maybe 3 inches of snow and sleet. Obviously, it's cold. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What's your top voting issue for 2022? Mandates, CRT, cancel culture? Join Mark Cox and 97.1 FM Talk as we bring you live coverage of CPAC 2022. It's the biggest conservative gathering in America and just where we belong. This Thursday and Friday, Mark is live in Orlando, Florida with the top guests and issues that matter to you. Brought to you by Hanson's Tree Service and Victory Men's Health.
So Air Comfort Service, when you reach out to Air Comfort Service for your needs, they're maybe different than my needs. Like, for instance, Air Comfort Service was at my house this morning checking out the water heater situation. They've also been there to check out our furnace situation when our furnace decided to kind of bomb out a couple Christmases ago. If you are unsure about the quality of your furnace right now, if you are unsure about how well it is putting out heat, make sure you schedule your heating system check with Air Comfort Service. This is the time to do it. They're celebrating 53 years in business, a local business by local people, your neighbors. Corey Malone and his wonderful family have taken over Air Comfort Service and just taken it to new heights. And they are using their 53rd year of being around here in the St. Louis area to give you a huge savings on a heating system check. Save $40 on that heating system check, a $53 heating system check when you give them a call at 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. That's right. Seminars, Sunday, February 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 to 4 p.m. And Monday, February 28th at the 4 Points by the Sheraton Hotel in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 to 10 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Doing any kind of electric work is dangerous. That's why you should leave it to the professionals of Reinhold Electric. And they serve St. Louis, St. Charles. If you've got work down at the Lake of the Ozarks or southwestern Illinois, Reinhold Electric is who you want to get a hold of. They answer the phone 24 hours a day. So if it's a plan change or it's an emergency, get a hold of Reinhold Electric. Their number 314-631-1158, 631-1158, or ReinholdElectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage, Navage. Available at Navage.com.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rip my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Wednesday. Happy that you are here. We got a weather event headed our way, so hopefully you've got your plans made for that. If you don't, you've done this before. You know how to hang. So the story continues to be Ukraine and Russia. Do you feel like it's been a week, 2 weeks? I feel like this when we've been covering this over the course of the last couple of weeks. It's like, it's imminent. It's imminent. Well, it seems as though it's happening right now. And I guess we're just sitting here and waiting the whole time. When we listened to President Biden yesterday deliver that speech that he gave, which was not good, folks. It was not good. It just seems as though there has not been any definitive moment where somebody on the world stage has come in and gone, put their fists on the table and directed the way this is going to go. It seems as though Vladimir Putin just gets to keep kind of doing his thing and then everybody else reacts to it. And it's a little disconcerting. Out of all of this, though, is this a bright spot? Justin Trudeau has had a change of pace. Listen to his words here.
Canada and our allies will defend democracy. We are taking these actions today to stand against authoritarianism. The people of Ukraine, like all people, must be free.
The people of Ukraine. He had me there for a second. Did he have you for a second?
Authoritarianism. The people of Ukraine, like all people, must be free to determine their own future. We will continue working with our international partners to safeguard Ukraine's territorial integrity and prevent further Russian aggression.
I'm really just not shocked at the lack of self-awareness there. Yeah, you listen to Justin Trudeau saying this, and I mean, it's like there's no attention given to what's going on in his own country in this very point in time. I mean, we heard yesterday the clip of Justin Trudeau saying to Parliament right before Parliament voted to extend the Emergencies Act for, I think, 30 days in Canada. We heard him tell Parliament, if you don't vote in favor of the extension of this, then you don't believe that the government is capable of making these big decisions for the Canadian people. Well, that's the thing. People like to make decisions for themselves. That's really kind of where this comes down to. Now, is there a difference between what's going on in Ukraine and the sovereignty of the Ukrainian people and the sovereignty of the Canadian people? Yes. But also at the same time, I mean, if you have to me, it's almost as if Justin Trudeau has different lengths of leashes for the people who are in these countries. I'm really concerned about the direction that this Canadian Emergencies Act story is headed. We have the Truckers' Freedom Convoy, which is supposed to come right here through Troy, Illinois, folks. I'm working on something. We've got the same type of protest taking place here. I was like, was it a week ago, Brad, or maybe a week and a half ago we interviewed the guy from the convoy?
Yeah, it was last week sometime.
I am very curious to see what kind of steam or diesel that this gains over the course of time, over the course of California to Washington, D.C. The one thing that's really intrigued me in specifically the last 24 hours, and it's like I get it, but at the same time, when I get it, it's also kind of annoying. And I wonder if you've noticed it as well. So if you watch people reacting on the news to the story of Russia moving into Ukraine and then Biden, among other places around the world, implementing these sanctions on Russia and the people who are working to do business with them, everybody has one major concern, and that major concern is, personal concern. And that major personal concern, the top one, the specific one, is the price of gas. It's what the price of energy is going to do in the wake of all of this. Now, is that a problem? You betcha it is. Is that going to be a concern for you and for me? It absolutely is. And it's not just, we understand that when gas goes up, I'm not just talking about the, 1.5 times a week that I fill up my tank so I can get to and from work and pick the kids up. We know that the cost of gas goes into the delivery of goods. So if it costs more to deliver goods to a store that you go by, then it's going to cost more to get those goods. We know that the cost of business travel and vacation travel, that ticket for that airplane, man, you better buy that now, because that's going to go, if you're going to be traveling later on this year. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last. It's a good question. How long is this going to last? I mean, like, have you thought that thought yet, Brad?
Like, how long is this going to last?
I haven't thought that thought yet.
At least another 3 years.
Okay. So
I don't see, like, what needs to happen for the gas crisis to kind of get under control isn't going to happen under this administration. There's nothing they can do.
Because it was day one to shut the Keystone Pipeline down.
Right.
So here's what I'm getting at. This is what everyone's talking about right now. The cost of energy and the cost of oil is going to go through the roof. It already is through the roof. Americans can't afford where it is right now. They're not going to be able to afford where it's going to go. And it's like, I get it. I understand what we're doing here, but it's a little annoying when I hear so many of these. I don't know how much you've consumed in the last 24 hours, Brad, but so many of these conservative pundits are up. And the number one point is, don't think the gas prices are high because of Russia. You need to make sure that you understand it's because of Joe Biden. Like, I just need you to really understand that. I really need you to understand where the blame is. That's like point number one.
Right. And CBS News sent out a tweet and a message saying that gas prices are high because of Russia and Ukraine.
Which is where this is coming from. And I'm like, at this point in time, I believe, stupidly, I'm sure, I believe that between February 23rd and November 8th, I believe it is, in that amount of time, there's not going to be like all of these things that start going right that are going to lull people into thinking that Joe Biden's doing a great job. Unless he does things like open the Keystone Pipeline. And if he does, huzzah, yay, that's right, you did the good thing. You should have done that from the very beginning. Let's discuss, when it comes to energy, gas prices are going to be high, prices of goods are going to go up, everything is going to get more expensive. Let's just stop for a second and think about how dependent we are, or that anybody else is or could be, on somebody else's oil. What if they just decided to shut us off? I mean, is the Keystone Pipeline a switch that we can flip? I have a feeling no. Why are we not working towards complete and total energy independence and becoming the people that right now, when Russia is controlling all of this energy and they're making these ridiculous decisions, these conquerous dictatorial decisions, that we become the obvious solution, where if people weren't already getting the majority of their energy from us, now they are. What kind of position does that put us in? I just get it. I mean, Brad, I get it. I understand it. I know why they're doing it. A part of me is like, I guess it's just how the sausage is made. But right now, like, the number one thing on my mind is not making sure that in November, you know how much Joe Biden sucks. I think people got it. I think it's obvious.
Yeah. Is the number one thing on your mind what's going to fix what he has screwed up? Because or how are you?
Because nobody thinks stop it. You're thinking about solutions. We don't think about solutions, especially in campaigns anymore. We only think about blame.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
It just makes me mad. Like, why? Like, who's talking about policy? There's no policy. It's all politics. Mm-hmm. So when we sit down and we have a conversation, like, if you're having a conversation, like, you're having a conversation about this, and the first thing that you want to say and make the point is that Joe Biden sucks. I mean, I'm like, at this point, just point at scoreboard. Just be like, scoreboard, we know. It's up there. It's clear. What else are we going to do about this? Like, where is the action coming from? Because the people who are put in office aren't concerned about fixing these things. They're just concerned about staying in office. And I know that the stakes are incredibly high. I completely understand that. I mean, how big of a deal? I heard coming in here that there are 30 Democrats in the House who are retiring, which is like a 30-year plus high of retirees.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So you've got that many different races that are going to have new Democrats running for them. And I don't know how many. I mean, maybe 9 out of 10 of those end up going back to the Democrats. I don't know how that shakes out, but it has never been a better time for somebody with good ideas to run for office on substance and something, because guess what? The votes are coming your way. Let's talk about the ideas. Let's talk about the things that are going to improve these situations, because if Joe Biden, remember, after November 8th, Joe Biden is still going to be the president. He's not going anywhere. Likely. He's going to be there. He's going to be there for another 2 years. I mean, that's the plan that we're sticking to unless something crazy happens. So if you're going to understand and you're going to know that Joe Biden is still going to be there, let's talk about how we can actually fix issues so that when we get into office and when the Republicans sweep the midterm elections, that we actually have something to stand on when we go in there. I don't think that the Republicans are going to go in the midterms and successfully encourage people to restart the pipeline. I don't think that's going to happen. I look at Eric Schmitt as somebody, he's the Missouri, state of Missouri Attorney General. He's on here. I mean, Brad, it's every week with a new lawsuit.
Yeah.
He can't stop. His song on the show is literally now going to be the Red Hot Chili Peppers Can't Stop. He's put together, or he is a part of a coalition of state attorneys general calling for the resignation of Secretary Mayorkas. Who's Secretary Mayorkas? Well, he's Homeland Security, folks. Remember, we have this huge problem at the southern border. We're not talking about the southern border. We're talking about the Ukraine border. We're talking about the Ukraine border, and we're obsessed with the Ukraine border for good reason. It's being invaded, but so is ours, and ours is ours. Ours is here. Ours is right down there. And it is being flooded with people. And I mean, I don't care if what you're talking about. If you're going to let 100 people through a gate, one of them is probably not going to be the best person. If you're going to be letting hundreds of thousands of people through the southern border unchecked who are coming there under the guise of knowingly, willfully, and encouragingly breaking the law by virtue of what they're doing, it's not looking good. Our southern border is wide open, and we're not even talking about it. We're talking about Canada, as we should. We're talking about Ukraine and Russia, as we should, but we're not talking about the southern border. What is wrong with us? So I'm not going to get caught up in a whole lot of conversations. I mean, they're going to happen from time to time, but if you're going to tune into the show so that you can hear how, many different ways in 3 hours I can dunk on Joe Biden, I don't really feel like it's necessary. I think it's pretty obvious. You know how I know? Because the people who I know who happily voted for him, and honestly, between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, would either vote for Joe Biden again or not vote at all, would not go, Donald Trump is not the answer to them. But boy, would we be better off right now if Donald Trump were the president. The people who supported Joe Biden and the people who detested Donald Trump, they all know that this is going disastrously wrong. They all know. And me going to them and being like, oh, and by the way, your guy, he really sucks. It just doesn't do any good. It's not necessary. The point has been made. They learned it without me having to tell them. Now let's talk about solutions. Now let's talk about things that we can do. Or maybe okay, so the last guy you voted for, okay, it's not going so great. What could we do that would be better? This is where you get to have those conversations potentially about policy and not even talk about names, not even come up with, who would fix all of this? Donald Trump, because he would fix almost all of this, but we'd have a whole host of different problems that we'd have to deal with. And right now, I would take that. If that was a deal that I could shake my hand or stick my hand out and shake someone's hand and make right now, I would do it in a heartbeat, 100%. We don't have that deal to make right now. So while we are sitting here and we're looking at what's going on with the president reacting to what's going on with the Russia-Ukraine situation, we're watching what's going on in Canada, and we're seeing that come across our border here with the trucker convoy, the Freedom Convoy, that's going to be heading towards Washington, D.C., because we're going to get to hear President Biden give the State of the Union in a little bit. It's time for ideas, folks. It's time for comfortable conversations with people over coffee. It's not time for dunking on people. It's just not. Let's take a quick break. We have Wiggins America. He's back. He took the day off yesterday, and he's back, so he'll be back with us at 1:45. Deroy Murdock at 1 o'clock. Eric Schmitt, talk about that coalition of state attorneys general calling for the resignation of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. That's at 1:25. It is 12:23 right now. Donate your car to Goodwill. Get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. It's not about left versus right. It's about wrong versus right. Where St. Louis comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
A free review of your retirement. I'm telling you right now, if you call my friend Thomas Helbig, he will look over your stuff and he will give you a no cost, no obligation review of what you've done so far. And he will help you usher right past the finish line in a worry-free way. That is almost priceless. You could probably put a price on it. You could probably look at your retirement right now and put a price on that. With what we don't know coming in the near future, there's little that we do know. What you know is that you want to protect it. What you know is that you've worked really hard, you've sacrificed, you've saved. And now that retirement is around the corner, you want to make sure that it's going to be there for you when the time comes. Maybe you'd like to even retire earlier than you expected. You thought you wanted to retire at 67, and now you're like, you know what? I think 64 would be really great. Let me see if I can make that happen. Talk to Thomas Helbig. He can walk you through the process and tell you what you need to do to make sure that you are in control, in the driver's seat, when you do make that decision. 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
It's time for Edwards Carpet's President's Day sale. Come on down and get great sale prices on carpet, wood, sheet vinyl, and all types of the newest luxury vinyl tile and planks. Low prices, fully guaranteed installation, and you can work with the same consultant through your entire project. Even the best floors are affordable with our 0% financing. There are limited quantities of some of our specials, so hurry in for your best selection. Edwards Carpet, serving St. Louis for 83 years.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
Need more living space to enjoy every moment you spend at home?
time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. Whether you want a luxurious bathroom, an updated kitchen with tons of counter space, a finished basement, or a bump out addition, Lakeside does it all. We don't subcontract, and we guarantee our work with a lifetime workmanship warranty, so you can rest assured you get the home interior of your dreams. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. You'll love your home all over again.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Well, just look down, gave me 40 days.
When can we expect a more detailed explanation from the White House about how it would plan to bring down energy prices?
Well, I think as Dilip just conveyed, a lot of what's happening right now is sensitive. It includes conversations with foreign counterparts and other major large global suppliers. It also includes conversations we're continuing to have with Congress and others about what steps may be at our disposal, and the president is continuing to consider options. So I expect we'll have more to tell you when any decisions are made.
So she didn't have any answers, basically. How President Biden, they're warning us. That was what Kamala Harris, I mean, were there other clips? Did I miss them of Kamala Harris she was in Germany, right? She went over there to fix it.
A couple days ago, wasn't that?
And basically she's like, yeah, this is really, she was like, this is serious, guys.
This is really bad.
Wait, you had to go to Germany to figure this out? We couldn't have saved all of that fuel? We haven't been in a land war. What is the line from
Never get involved in a land war in Asia. The one of the classic blunders.
I wonder if that was like her advice when she went over there. She's like, well, a great philosopher once said.
Yeah.
It's not Fezzik. No, he's a Sicilian. Vicini. Is there a better movie than The Princess Bride?
It's hard to find one.
Oh my gosh. It works every single time you watch it. It doesn't matter where you start watching it. It's good stuff. A reminder, you can tune in and watch us on the live stream. We are up on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. The Annie Frey Show Facebook page is down, so I will relaunch that right now. YouTube is always the most consistent place to watch us, and I'm going to put us up on Getter and Rumble here in a second. I am watching the politics that are surrounding what's going on in the world, and to me, it just almost feels like, and comparative to Donald Trump, because he was in front of every camera everywhere. He couldn't walk from the White House to a helicopter without giving a press conference. And then he would get off the helicopter and he would give a press conference. And then he would go and, he would be getting off the helicopter to go to the press conference. He would stop and give a press conference under the best sound bites were underneath the helicopter blades. And it was so hard to hear him. I remember trying to cover that, but it was maybe a bit much. I loved it. It made my job super easy. And we knew where he was. And you also knew to an extent that there was nobody in his administration running the show without his blessing. We elected Donald Trump, and he was the guy calling the shots. Now, if he was 100% going along with, like at the beginning of the pandemic, Dr. Fauci is the expert on this. Let's go with Dr. Fauci or Dr. Birx or whomever it was. You could see him. I thought he did a great job of deferring to experts over the course of different issues that were rising up, because he's a businessman. He's not a politician, which is what's really attractive about somebody like him, because I don't want somebody who knows how to package up the BS and sell it to me. That's what a politician is. I want somebody who knows what to do and who also has the foresight to say, I don't know what to do right now. Who would know what to do right now? Get them. And let's sit down and I will be advised by them and I will make a decision. I don't know where Joe Biden stands on a single issue. Is there an issue, Brad, that comes to mind? Any issue where you're like, This is Joe Biden's thing.
Like his thing, like this is his thing.
Policies, issues.
The only thing that I can think of is like whenever he watches, like, what was it? The Charlottesville riot. That's his thing. He's stuck on that, right? That was his whole justification for running for president and all this other stuff. I watched an American president. It's like, Joe, stop.
I think that when you see him talking from his heart, the thing that comes straight from him is his family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Let's step aside from the politics and he's the man running the free world. I feel for him in the sense that he is the father to somebody who is colossally broken. Hunter Biden is a disaster. And Hunter Biden, outside of the context of American politics, needs somebody's eternal compassion and patience because he needs help. Where you interject somebody who's that broken into an American political system and put him in a position where he is dealing with and talking to important people about important things provenly in conjunction with a man who was known as the vice president of the United States with presidential aspirations. I mean, of course, didn't he run 3 other times? I think he ran 3 other times before this time. I don't cease to have a sense of sympathy for Hunter Biden, that his life is what it is. I don't understand how, as a parent, you could understand that about your child and not give up everything to protect them and help them. And by that, I mean, get them the help they need. Put everything on hold for my kid. And they just push forward. And it almost is in a brazen way, which is like, they just know they can.
Yeah. I don't know. This is going to sound controversial to you, maybe to you, maybe to some people in our audience. I think Joe Biden loves his family, and don't get me wrong whenever I say this. I think that Joe Biden is the reason Hunter Biden is the way he is.
If you've read some of those text messages that Hunter has sent to his dad, and he talks about how much he's screwed, like that's the thing because they were on his laptop. And Hunter is talking about how he's basically the screw up of the family. And what Joe Biden does in these conversations is essentially say, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. But there's no it's like to me, it's like a case study in enabling.
And I think the other part of that is if you ever do you listen to Joe Biden talk, like when you listen to Joe Biden talk about his son, Beau, who passed away?
Yeah.
There is so much, I don't know if the right word is regret or sadness or pain. It ripped Joe's heart out. And I do think that there was an aspect of, Beau is awesome. And I don't know if Joe was doing this on purpose, but Beau, retired military, everything did great.
Wasn't he the Attorney General of Pennsylvania?
He might have been. I don't know exactly.
I mean, he was supposed to be.
He was
supposed to be the president.
He was incredibly successful. He was a great young man, right? And he was taken early by, was it cancer? And I think that Joe being proud of Beau hurt Hunter, because Hunter's watching all the good things Beau's doing, and Hunter's on the other side feeling like a total screw up. And whether or not Joe played favorites, Hunter probably felt like Joe loved Beau more than he loved himself.
Well, I think, on a much smaller extent, not like crack pipes and prostitutes and drug deals and all that type of stuff and weapons. I mean, anybody can understand what it's like. Like my sister, I have an older sister. She's wildly successful. She is incredibly smart. And I always grew up, she was 3 years older than me. She skipped kindergarten. And when we were little, she'd make fun of me because this is what siblings do. And she'd be like, well, I skipped a grade. I'm like, you skipped kindergarten. And she's like, you didn't. And I was like, well, that's kind of true also. I'm too stupid to skip kindergarten. But she just was incredibly successful and driven and I too have been incredibly driven, but I just had to eventually go, I can't always, because she did, like, she's valedictorian
Mhm.
and everything. Like, I
Mhm.
can't do better than that. I can't be like the super valedictorian. I could be the valedictorian. I could meet her standards,
Right.
but I couldn't achieve them. I couldn't supersede them. And so I just decided that there were things that I was going to have to succeed in different places. And I know that her success drove me to want success of my own because I wanted to have the feeling and the attention that she got when she was succeeding. That's natural. That's normal. That's what drives people to achieve more. Because if you're just like, yep, she's really great, I'm totally fine with average. You're going to be average. You're probably not going to be average, actually. So being driven to the point of wanting to succeed in other things, the stuff that I've succeeded at in life, and there have been a few things that I've succeeded at in life, are generally speaking, public speaking, being comfortable standing up and engaging a large amount of people at one time, like not in this context, but just I would do be very comfortable speaking in front of a church group or of a school group or something like that. And she could do it. She absolutely could do it, but it was my strength. It wasn't hers. And so we both have completely forged our own paths and been successful in our own right. I can absolutely see how if we didn't have parents who were driving us to succeed and a stable home life, that could just eat you up inside.
Mhm.
And that could push you into a place where you got the best of yourself. And then if you had endless means
Mhm.
to have what you want and to understand that instant gratification and self gratification, and those two things, instant self gratification, which is what all of those vices that Hunter Biden has are. They're things that immediately make you feel really good and then crash right after that. It's sad to me. And I put this, I put this into the larger conversation about Joe Biden as the president and who he is to me, because he's not my dad. He's not my grandpa. He is to me the president of the United States. And I know that somebody's like, oh, he's not my president. He is my president. He's the president of the United States. And if you would have said, if you would have said about Donald Trump that he wasn't your president, I would have rolled my eyes at that too. He's the president of the United States. So what I need him to be to me is a leader. I need him to fill those shoes. I need to know that he is the guy who is making decisions that are going to protect the United States of America, that are going to fortify and build up the idea that the United States of America is the predominant location on the face of the earth where freedom reigns. And he does not give me that vibe. I don't hear him speaking. I don't see him presenting anything in a way that makes me believe that it is his own. And in large part, those things that we do hear from him or those things we do see from him have been concocted for him to present to you, to sell you on something that likely somebody in a conference room somewhere that was not elected has come together and filtered through the president of the United States. And that frightens me. The second in command, no more confidence there. I don't know what happens next, but again, going back to what we were talking about in the first segment, if this is the time where you're looking around and you're like, man, this is just the easiest time ever to dunk on Joe Biden. We don't need to dunk on Joe Biden. This administration is dunking on itself. We need to start talking about policy in a positive way, because the November elections are not about Republicans winning. The November elections are about reinstating what it means to be American. And those Freedom Convoy truckers that are coming across the United States of America, that's a picture of what it means to be an American. The parents at school board meetings with these school board members contorting in themselves inside out because they can't stand the fact that A, people are coming to school board meetings, and B, disagreeing with them on large scale and pushing back. That's what America looks like. The people who are not working the Keystone Pipeline, those hard-working middle-class people who want to go provide for themselves, want the government to stay out. You live your life, I'll live mine. We can have different cultures. We can have different types of, standards that we live our own lives by. But if yours disagrees with mine, you do you. I got me. Let's live that way together without having someone come in and tell us why we're all wrong about everything. Let's stop figuring out who's at the top of the victim pile and let's start building up people who are champions. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what we used to be about. That's what we need to be about again. And none of those things that I'm listing as what I believe is the bread and butter of the United States of America have anything to do with any politician who's in office right now. It's you. It really is you. Sitting in the Arby's drive-thru line right now, about to get a roast beef sandwich, minding your own business, questioning why you're paying $12 for a value meal at a fast food restaurant, and being frustrated with the way things are going. You are actually the solution. It doesn't start in November. It doesn't end in November. It won't get fixed in November. It gets fixed with you right now. Quick break. When we come back, Ryan Wiggins in studio with us. Wiggins America right around the corner. Plus, Deroy Murdock at 1 o'clock. It's 12:44. Donate your car to Goodwill to get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Wiggins America in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
Schmitt Dogan is back with us this afternoon. I think there's just so many people who've held on to a mask as kind of a symbol of being a good person, and it's not.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy. I mean, you want to talk about the American dream, living in your own home, minding your own business, and doing it in the most financially smart way. That involves Stewie. Stewie's a friend of mine now. I've become a friend with him since he's been partnering with the show, helps bring you free radio. You can turn the show on anytime for free. You can turn it off for free, but let's not talk about that. He is going to help you with your refinance. He has done that for myself. And I know that if you give him a call, talk to him about your situation, yours is going to be different than mine is, then he can help walk you through this process and tell you exactly what you need to do. He's also told me about Annie Frey Show listeners who have called and said, hey, this is what I want to do. And he's just said, listen, honestly, this is your best course of action. He's not going to go through the process with you if it isn't what's actually best for you. Get a bagel loan today. Costs you none of those fees that other lenders are going to charge you for to go through that refinance. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Start the new year on a better foot. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Arch Madness is all about the excitement, the fans, the history, the big moments.
Shoots at the horn. Good!
It's all about the madness.
To make it to the tournament.
And March, it begins here. It's the 2022 State Farm MVC Men's Basketball Tournament, March 3rd to March 6th, presented by Bally Sports Midwest. Visit archmadness.com for ticket information.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with a new heating system this winter. You could get 0% financing for up to 72 months on qualifying new HVAC systems. For free details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Remember the words you told me, love me till the day I die. Surrender my everything, cause you made me believe you're mine. Yeah, you used to call me baby, now you're calling me.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
My own game. You pushing, I'm pulling away from you. I give and you take. Young blood, see you want me. That is life, and I'm just a dead man walking tonight. But you need it, yeah, you need it. All of this time, yeah.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Young blood, you know what that means. It's Ryan Wiggins time.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Welcome back.
Wasn't expecting that.
You hosted one day and had to rest.
Yeah, I had to take yesterday off, reflect on the success of Monday.
Was it successful?
Oh my gosh, yes. Incredible day.
Wildly.
Everybody's saying it. Put it on a coffee cup.
Everybody's saying
Yep.
it? Name one person. You.
Brad?
I didn't say that.
Annie?
Brad wasn't there.
Hannah?
I listened to 30 minutes of the show on my drive out to Bartelzo, Illinois. And
I don't necessarily want your endorsement anymore.
You were talking about the lady with the Uber.
It's funny how you were talking about all the people who were saying how much of just a ringing endorsement. But the only person you didn't list is Trisha, who was actually here and knows what happened.
I forgot about Trisha. I forgot about Dre. I forgot about everybody.
How rude.
I know.
Forgot about Dre.
So let's see. For Wiggins America today, we are kind of in the topic because this is the topic du jour of international relations. Did you see that China has come out and said that they are now going to, quote unquote, eradicate Taiwan's secessionist regime? And I found some audio, and I don't know if we can get to it or not, but Trump has been predicting.
You know how we could get to it?
No.
If you put it in
if
the
I
drive.
put it in your right drive,
Yes.
which I didn't do, then I'll take responsibility for that. I'll explain what Trump said then.
Do it like he said it.
No, I can't do that. He's been saying this for months. I've got audio from November and December of him saying immediately after the Olympics, China is going to declare Taiwan as a break-off regime and they're going to invade. You got it?
After these Olympics.
After these Olympics. The Olympics just got done. This is the news story. Incredible timing. Do we have it or not? Well, he's pointing at it like we have it. So.
I've got it. It's in there.
Play it.
Oh, you want me to play it?
Oh, you.
He's just saying he had it.
I got to hear. I remember our first radio show.
I don't think it's ever been in a position like this. We're not respected anymore. I will tell you, there were no planes flying over Taiwan. And the name wasn't even mentioned. You didn't talk about Taiwan when I was president. It wasn't going to happen, what they're doing now. And they'll wait till after the Olympics, I assume. And perhaps something will happen. But it's not good if you're there and you have bombers flying over your country constantly, which is constant. With Russia, we had no problem.
My question for you is, do you think it's fair to tie these things, not necessarily to Trump, but to because we're talking about Taiwan now, we're definitely talking about Ukraine, we're talking about Russia invading Ukraine. Is it fair to tie those things to Biden's blunder of Afghanistan?
I just think that if you this is what I've really been talking about this whole hour, honestly.
Yeah.
He's not a leader on anything. Everything he's doing is reactionary. The one thing he's a leader on, and the one thing they're really stuck to, is climate change. It keeps coming back. They've doubled down on it. Everything is reactionary. And it's not so much that it's like he's causing it. It's like, it's just, there's space for things to happen.
Yeah, it's a vacuum. Nothing's happening. And so powerful people step in and go, oh, well, if nothing's going to happen to me, then I'm going to do this. I'm writing an article right now about the last year, foreign policy in 1 year. Now, we're barely over a year now, but we don't even remember everything that's happened in this 1 year in foreign policy. China's taken over Hong Kong completely. Russia's invading Ukraine. Palestine was shooting rockets into Israel at the beginning, right after Biden took office, about a month after. The Abraham Accords, the Middle East peace that was going on, gone. Those agreements still exist, but they're stopped. They were really moving in the right direction, and they just stopped the minute he took office. And then, of course, Afghanistan. It's amazing that's happened in 1 year.
Name one thing. Brad and I were talking about this earlier today. Name one thing that is Joe Biden's. That when he speaks on it, you're like, that's his heart talking right there.
I heard you talking about that, and I can't.
Isn't that unbelievable?
I don't know what it is.
And you compare where we are right now with this administration to the exact opposite of a Trump administration, where you want to talk about the opposite of a vacuum. Trump was everywhere.
Yeah.
And like if it could be seen or heard, he was in it. So much so that he's been forcibly removed from the majority of these different places, and he still commands daily the news cycle from so many of these different entities. It's time to go to CNN.com.
It's incredible to watch CNN and some of those news networks try to tie in the idea that Ukraine is being currently invaded by Russia, and that somehow Trump is still responsible for that.
Donald Trump's picture on the top of CNN.com.
Unbelievable.
Trump sides with Putin as Biden tries to stop a war. If you were somebody if you were an entity that was concerned about, I don't know what CNN's ultimate goal is. I think it's to be on the side of the party that is in power and to restore that power to places where they feel like they can be at home. Why are we covering this story? I haven't even read it. It's an analysis, and it doesn't even, Stephen Collinson, I don't know who that is. Top of CNN's website is Donald Trump's thoughts on the matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he said some boneheaded things over the weekend, but it's typical Trump. It's in the context of what he's saying. It makes sense. He's praising Putin and saying, look, the guy knows strategy really well. And so they just say, well, he's praising Putin. What he's saying is actually correct. He does know strategy really well.
All right. We'll talk to you later in a little bit. Don't go away.
Okay.
More Andy Fry Show right around the corner.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guarantee for only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar, Monday, February 28th at the 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel in Fairview Heights. Time is 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Registration begins at 5 p.m. Stop smoking seminar starts at 8 p.m. Registration starts at 7:30.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Shakira.
You know, I think that with the pandemic and everything, we've learned to seize the moment, seize the day. And I feel it in a way that has changed us all. We have to live in the present. And I picked up this new hobby. It just kind of forced me to be more outdoors and enjoy nature. And I discovered surfing and I completely got addicted to it. And it's never too late to learn a new skill.
Explore more at imlistening.org.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Everyone deserves the retirement they have always wanted. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, protecting your life savings along with growth potential is key. When your nest egg is protected from market losses, the fear and anxiety of not being able to retire are no longer part of the equation. That is the first step. Our sole focus is on you. I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group, and we'll show you how to protect your retirement accounts from market losses and generate more income than most investment options. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. We'll design your own personalized, structured income plan that will show you exactly how to retire comfortably. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. I've been helping retirees and pre-retirees to retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
The warnings aren't working on Lisa Brady, Fox News. Despite an initial round of U.S. sanctions and more from the European Union today, Russia appears ready to pounce on Ukraine. A senior U.S. defense official says Russian forces are as ready as they can be. And the U.S. assessment is that President Putin is fully prepared to carry out a large-scale invasion.
If he chooses to escalate further, Russia and Russia alone will bear full responsibility for what is to come.
U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, warning of steeper penalties. And now President Biden has just released a statement on new sanctions against the company that built the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline from Russia to Europe. Germany halted the certification process for that this week. Opening statements at the trial of former police officer Brett Hankison, the only one charged in connection with the botched raid that led to Breonna Taylor's death in Kentucky.
Through hearing from those officers, you're going to discover that this scene was total chaos.
Defense attorney Stu Matthews says Hankison was doing his job, but prosecutors say he escalated the situation, endangering the safety of neighbors. A convoy of truckers heading for the nation's capital, picking up more along the way.
America, you gotta stand up.
Trucker Larry LaChivaux is part of a Scranton, Pennsylvania contingent traveling first to the state capitol in Harrisburg to protest vaccine and mask mandates.
You gotta let people know enough is enough. We have to take our rights back. We got to maintain our freedom. We lose it, we're never getting it back.
The Pentagon plans hundreds of unarmed National Guard troops and tactical vehicles to control D.C. traffic ahead of the president's State of the Union address Tuesday. That American convoy follows the weeks-long protest in Canada, eventually broken up by police. It comes even as more and more mandates are ending. America is listening to Fox News.
This view was worth a hike.
Right?
And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Cloudy and cold going through the afternoon, 32 degrees, and snow and sleet will be developing by late afternoon and into the evening. This first wave doesn't last very long, an inch or less accumulation. Thursday, snow and sleet kicking back into gear Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. That should bring 2, maybe 3 inches of snow and sleet. Obviously, it's cold. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
CPAC draws the biggest names in conservatism: Trump, Hawley, DeSantis, and Cox. Yes, I'll be there to cover it all live. Join the Mark Cox Morning Show from Orlando Thursday and Friday only on 97.1 FM Talk. The top conservative minds in the country are going to gather to break down the big issues of the 22 midterm elections, and I'll bring it straight to your radio from CPAC Florida 2022, thanks to Hanson Street Service and Victory Men's Health.
So Hensher Johnson Orthodontics and Dr. Jody waiting for your phone call to give you that smile that smile that we've been talking a lot about people seeing. I mean, honestly, maybe you haven't been showing people your smile for a long time because you've been covering it up with a mask. A lot of us have. And now that we don't have to do that as much, or a lot of people are not doing it at all, you want to make sure that you got the smile that you've been dreaming of for a long time. I was talking yesterday about Dr. Jody and what she can do for a lot of the health issues that go along with poorly aligned teeth. It's breathing, it's sleeping, it's your jaw. There's so many things that go along with that oral health that the folks at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, who are the best, can help you with and push you to a place where you are living a healthier life, a happier life, one that just causes you to walk around and show that world the smile that you're very, very proud to show them. You get that when you go to see Dr. Jody and her wonderful staff at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics. You can go online to HensherJohnsonOrtho.com. You can see the different treatments they have there, all different kinds of opportunities for you that can be discreet, that can be quick, so on and so forth. Go online and find out more about Hensher Johnson Orthodontics at HensherJohnsonOrtho.com.
Here, community comes together and new friendships form. Stories are shared and new chapters written. Activities are limitless and amenities unsurpassed. Here, you'll find thoughtful care and committed attention. Here, you have a voice and are heard. Here, there is beauty. Allegro Richmond Heights, assisted living, memory care. Live beautifully. For a tour, call 314-202-5989 or visit allegroliving.com.
Nobody wants to miss the important things in life, and if it's because of bad vision, you don't have to. Mark Cox here from my friends at Brenton Vision. They can help you out. That's why I want you to take 2 minutes today to call my friends at Brenton at 314-375-2020 or go online to BrentonVision.com. Your eyes are as unique as your fingerprint. Since Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri offering all 7 forms of modern vision correction, they can create a customized treatment plan just for your vision. They helped my wife out. She chose the lens replacement therapy and now sees better than ever, and she loves it. You can have that same experience with Brenton Vision. They accept flex plans and medical spending plans as well at Brenton. So don't let that money expire or go to waste. See your best. Do what we did. Call Brenton Vision at 314-375-2020 or schedule online right now at BrentonVision.com. Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We continue to follow what's developing in Russia and Ukraine. If there is news to bring to you on that particular issue, we will definitely do that. There are so many stories facing folks right now, and I really have been paying attention to the average voter. Of course, we've seen, parents across the country have risen up and pushed back against a lot of what is being pushed upon their kids. People who are not the folks who get riled up. These are the people who get in front of small meetings of people, meetings that have grown in size, of course. Maybe there's 30 people, 50 people, 75 people there. But these are people who walk up to a podium and they're trembling in fear because they don't talk in public, because they don't put themselves in a position to be in front of other people. But the stakes are so high. We're talking about those children. The stakes are so high that they tremble at the podium instead of sit calmly in their seats or on their couches at home. They've gotten off their couches. They're willing to go potentially, for fear of shedding a tear because they're so emotional about these issues. They're willing to speak up. They're willing to tremble because the stakes are so high. This is a stressful time. And, I can report to you, I could spend the entire day reporting to you on, this just in from Russia and Ukraine and this just in from Russia and Ukraine. It is stressing us out. And meanwhile, on the home front here, we have a ton of concerns and issues that are facing us, a culture war that is facing us. And I feel like it's time to center ourselves. I feel like it's time to pay attention to what matters the most and stand on what is right and good and speak up about it. Somebody who does that with us regularly, who calls it out and calls it like it is on our show, our friend Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor. He joins us now. Deroy, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here. It's kind of a crazy time to be alive.
Well, Annie, as I like to tell people, no matter what's going on, at least we're not bored.
That's true. I can tell you that. I wanted to tell you, Deroy, and I want to get to your subject here in a second, but I have people who comment along with us on our live chat, on our Annie Frey YouTube channel, Annie Frey Show Facebook page, and these people are stressed out. The news of what's going on in Ukraine and Russia is stressing them out, not so much because, they feel like the war is going to land here, but they do not have confidence in our government, in our administration to handle this. And that really, that concern spans issues far greater than what's going on in Asia.
No, I think that's true. And who knows how this is going to go. I mean, this whole thing could be a bluff and Putin maybe has taken all the territory he wants, or this could turn into a full-blown effort to take all of Ukraine and just, Anschluss it the way Hitler Anschlussed Austria or something like that. Or it could be like the, capture of Poland. This could be the first step in completely taking over and reconstituting the old Soviet Union. So who knows how badly this will go. And then does NATO get involved? Does the U.S. stand back? Even if we don't get involved, it's almost certainly going to increase the price of oil, which means more inflation, higher prices, more instability at home. So, yeah, you have every right to look at this and not be terribly content.
Deroy, I think one of the things that adds to the stress that people face when they see a story like this and they question, the administration and their ability and strength in handling this is how we just relate to one another here within the United States. We've really been cultured probably in the last 10 to 15 years to find all the reasons to hate one another and to see the differences amongst one another and to stay silent about feelings and emotions that we may have. Like we don't have the encouragement anymore to be autonomous beings that have perspectives and experiences of our own that define who we are. But we've had, the capital T, they get to define us. And in Black History Month, there's a lot of reasons to celebrate Black history in the United States of America. But I think a lot of people look at that and it becomes yet another divisive issue with which many people just shy away from and don't speak up on because they just don't know how to anymore without getting into trouble.
Well, that unfortunately is true. We've got a situation where if you're a white person and you don't speak up about Black people, I think the saying is silence equals death, silence equals racism, something like that.
Silence is violence.
Silence is violence. If you do speak up, how dare you close your mouth? So no matter what you do, you're in trouble. And of course, there's always the fear that you'll say something with one comma out of place or one conjunction 2 words away from what would be, and therefore you're a racist and you need to be fired and deplatformed and boycotted and canceled and so on and so forth. And it's awful. And the thing about Black History Month is that it started off as and should be a celebration of all the great things that Black people have contributed to this country from the 1600s onward. A lot of this was contributed, unfortunately, at the end of a lash as slaves labored for free, and they labored under great pain and difficulty and death. But certainly post-emancipation, the tremendous contributions Blacks have made in the arts, in sports, in entertainment, in cinema, business, commerce, academics, certainly politics, and elsewhere. And it should be a good opportunity to look back and see what good things Black people have done in this country and how they've managed to overcome obstacles, overcome challenges, and be among the most effective and generous people in turning America into what it is today, which is the exact opposite of what the critical race theory people say, which is Black people are victims, we're all oppressed, all we do is sit around and be held under the heel of vicious, nasty white people. And I don't think the BLM and Antifa and critical race theory people really want to hear about Black accomplishment and Black achievement, because that goes against their narrative that being Black is just a matter of being a victim and suffering in this, as they see it, deeply racist, deeply flawed society.
Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock with us right now. I see people in my own personal circles who, if these issues come up, and it seems to me that we're starting to cultivate a national eye roll at a lot of this stuff. That it's the potential for this hand to have been overplayed, that we might be getting somewhere with that. And it's hard to sit here, specifically for me as a white person, and figure out how to lead the conversation to be more inclusive without having to be specifically divisive, if that makes actual sense. So I sit here and I think okay, how can I be part of the solution? How can, how do you extra prove that you're inclusive to all people? And it's impossible to do that without being divisive and dividing people into the demographics that the other side has deemed a hierarchy of. What do we do as a country when we want to move past this? People kind of understand the pandering that a lot of politicians have been engaging in. How could we be part of something that makes us better?
Yeah, I think I focus on success. I mean, look, we can spend all day long talking about every terrible thing that's ever happened to a Black person in America, from slavery to Jim Crow to lynchings, and all that happened. That's all part of our history. There's no reason to cover that up and pretend those things didn't occur. But I try to focus on positive aspects. I'm working on a piece right now on the ideas I call it 2 + 2 = racism, and the left has been pushing this idea that mathematics itself is racist. There's a group called Tolos Mathematics for All and National Council of Supervisors of Mathematics. And a couple of years ago, they said that, quote, a social justice stance interrogates and challenges the roles, power, privilege, and oppression play in the current unjust system of mathematics education. There's a professor at University of Illinois right next to, I guess you live in that state where a lot of our listeners live. And she said, on many levels, mathematics itself operates as whiteness. Who gets credit for doing and developing mathematics, who is capable in mathematics, and who is seen as part of the mathematical community, is generally viewed as white. And I hear that, and my response is, well, tell that to the women who were in that wonderful movie called Hidden Figures, who were Black women, Black mathematicians in the late 50s, early 60s during the Jim Crow era. And they came up with the calculations that made it possible to send the Mercury astronauts into space and bringing them back without them burning up into cinders as they came back through the atmosphere. That included John Glenn, senator from Ohio. He was a Mercury astronaut. If it were not for the mathematics of these black female mathematicians, he wouldn't be on the Senate. He probably would have turned to ashes. Then you've got a guy like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's probably our most prominent astrophysicist. He's here in New York at the American Museum of Natural History. He's more or less the Carl Sagan of our age, and he's somebody who's popularized a lot of astrophysics. He has a great book called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. And I don't think you become a prominent astrophysicist without the ability to do some pretty heavy-duty math, more than I can do, and probably more than you can do. And I'd celebrate that kind of success and say to the people who basically say, well, blacks are just not smart enough to do math or too oppressed to do math, shut up. Look at these examples. Look at these incredible Americans and all they have contributed to our society. And let's celebrate them and not sit around and mope about, racism being so terrible that black people just can't succeed, which is an LIE lie. And the more we talk about black success, the more I think the BLM and critical race theory type people will just be isolated and look to be like the bigots and racists that they actually are.
I've seen a lot of people, Deroy, that have started to come out. A lot of people who are going to be running for office this November are starting to declare, put their campaigns out there and so forth. It seems to me that the field of candidates that are making waves right now, the Republican side of the aisle has a lot of younger, more diverse female, people of color that have stepped in and said they kind of have a new way of looking, or at least a new face of showing people what it means to be conservative. And I think it's really important to tie those two things together and to show that conservatism isn't like an old white guy idea. It's actually a very good way to move about this country and to put the power and the authority within the people so that they can achieve, not based on what the government says that they're going to permit these individuals to achieve. And what the left seems to be offering around every corner is you have to put the government right into the place to move all the pieces around the field in order to make sure that certain people have these set opportunities. Do you think that minorities, diverse people, non-white men essentially, do have a fair shake in the United States right now?
Generally, I do. I mean, you look at the successful economy under President Donald J. Trump, who was a white Republican conservative, and thanks to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the Opportunity Zone program, other incentives, deregulation, we had the most thriving economy ever in many respects, certainly in about 50 years in others. The lowest black unemployment rate, the lowest black poverty rate, I believe the highest ever black housing rate, et cetera. All these wonderful things were happening, not just for white people on yachts, but for black people in the inner city, for Hispanics, for people of Asian background, the lowest female unemployment rate since the Eisenhower era. And that's what happens when you follow the GOP conservative free market model of limited government and economic opportunity. We've had 13 months now of the opposite, the Joe Biden big government Democrat left model. And look where we are. We've got empty store shelves. We've got this confused labor shortage situation, supply chain mess, empty store shelves, and that's just domestically. Inflation, of course. Overseas, who knows what was going to happen with Ukraine, et cetera. And we've seen in 13 months a very dramatic contrast. So if you're interested in black success, black opportunity, minority advancement, achievement, and people rising tide, lifting all boats. You look at the Trump model, and that worked. You look at the Biden model, and a sinking tide sinks all boats. Is where we are, thanks to the policies we've got in the White House today.
Deroy Murdock, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. We look forward to talking to you again next week.
Very good. Look forward to that too. Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor. He's also a member of Project 21. It's a great organization. You should check it out. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Eric Schmitt's going to join us. He's the Missouri Attorney General, joining a coalition of states' attorneys general who are calling for the resignation of the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mayorkas. What's next on Eric Schmitt's front? Because every week, like I say, we talk to him. He's got a new lawsuit that he's out there advocating for the American people and for freedom. It's 1:21 right now. Donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. We're going to take a quick break. Eric Schmitt with us. We come back. Go away.
Listen through the cemetery trees.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. A weekday lineup that makes you think. Mornings with Mark Cox and Brian Kilmeade. Afternoons with Annie Frey and Mark Reardon, where St. Louis comes to talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, Sean Long for STL FenceWorks. For over 50 years, our time-honored commitment to quality, service, and affordability make STL FenceWorks the go-to authority for fence, deck, and leisure space projects. During these unsure times of severe inflation and supply shortages, you can depend on STL FenceWorks to meet your needs. Being the #1 fence and deck contractor in the state, we've leveraged our position to make contract buy-ins hedging against price increases. Also, our buying power has allowed us to stockpile fence and deck material. There are no shortages at STL FenceWorks. In fact, we have more fence and deck material on hand now than we have had at any time in our 50-year history. Lastly, our commitment to a quality and customer-first approach has never wavered. Your project will be completed by experienced craftsmen in a timely manner, and our lifetime warranty reinforces that commitment. STL FenceWorks warranty surpasses anything offered in the industry. Visit stlfenceworks.com and allow us to bring your backyard dreams to life. As always, at STL FenceWorks, your satisfaction is our passion.
Procrastination. We've all been there. But have you been dragging your feet when it comes to creating your retirement plan? I've heard it all from, I have time before I need to make a decision, or I'll eliminate debt first and then get ready for retirement. I've seen far too many people waste valuable time for their retirement planning, and I don't want you to be one of them. Hi, I'm Ken Heisey with Heisey Advisory Group. I'm on a mission to help people recognize the potential destructive impact procrastination can have on their retirement plan. Don't procrastinate. Call us today at 314-328-6000 to ensure you get on the right path toward your retirement dream. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great! Because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I really appreciate the openness that with which the agents expressed their views. A couple guys might have expressed them what I thought was unprofessionally, which was surprising to me because it's something I've never seen in the Border Patrol in my, 8 years of exposure, person-to-person exposure. But the substance of what was communicated really called for action, and we're jumping on it, but we've got a lot of work to do.
So welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Here's a Fox News report. 14 Republican attorneys general are calling for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to resign due to the ongoing crisis at the southern border. The latest sign of increasing GOP pressure on the DHS chief. Well, of course, we're not talking about the Illinois Attorney General, although I bet they'd welcome that addition. We are talking about the guy who can't stop the Missouri Attorney General, Eric Schmitt. Welcome back to the show. You have a song now officially attached to your presence on our show. Eric Schmitt, welcome back.
I love it. I love it. Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's awesome.
Yeah,
but,
it's just so fitting because I say this every week. You've got something new going on and you're pushing. And I mean, it's unfortunate that there's so much that you need to fight back for, but you're taking it back to the southern border.
well, that's what I say too, is that we're so busy. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish we didn't have a lawless administration. I wish we didn't have a porous, open southern border. You know, I wish that we didn't have COVID tyranny running rampant, but these are the times we live in, and those kinds of, you know, situations call for leadership. And so I joined, you know, other attorneys general across the country in calling for the resignation of the secretary because, and I guess the best way to put this, Annie, is just there's three things that stand out to me from day one, literally the first day of the Biden administration. They canceled Operation Talon, which was a Trump era policy where they were going to remove, deport previously convicted sex offenders who were here illegally. Okay. You would think that that's something that we could all agree on. Yeah. You know what I mean? But evidently not. This was a priority because their reflexive desire to undo everything President Trump did had severe consequences, and we're seeing it today. You know, you also had the catch and release, which they brought back, which was under President Obama, where people who were coming here seeking asylum are just released into the interior. We sued, went all the way to Supreme Court. We won that case, remain in Mexico, but they're dragging their feet implementing it. There's that. And then I think you look at the border wall. I mean, we filed a lawsuit with Texas to finish the border wall. They're literally, the Biden administration, with materials that are on the ground, rusting, are paying contractors, literally paying them to not put it up as opposed to put it up. So those are just a few examples of the priorities of this administration, what the secretary has undermined the rule of law. And I'll also mention this, and this affects every community across the United States. I've said it before, every state's a border state. The human trafficking, which is about $100 million a week business effort by the cartels of the southern border, is stunning. But also the amount of fentanyl making its way into our communities now. Since the Biden administration, this is just the amount that they've seized at the border, not the total amount that's come across, is enough to kill every man, woman, and child 6 times over in the United States.
It's unbelievable.
And so when you open the border up like this and you invite this kind of lawlessness, of course these bad people are going to take advantage of that. And that's exactly what's going on. We need new leadership. We need new direction. And that's why we've called for the resignation.
Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt with us right now on the Annie Frey Show. So you're saying, you've said this before, every state is a border state. You're talking about fentanyl. You're talking about human trafficking. How have you seen this occur in the state of Missouri?
So we've led human trafficking, particularly in Missouri, because of our pretty robust interstate network, interstate highways, is particularly susceptible to this. The cartels, as I've been down to the border twice, we were in El Paso, which is kind of the western edge of Texas, and then in McAllen, which is kind of that southern tip. We've been down there also in the last few weeks. And when you talk to these Border Patrol agents, we've been on boat, we've been on land, we've been by the wall. And what they all tell you is these cartels have zones, not just that they control along the border, but in the United States. So as they traffic human beings and drugs into this country, it's big business for them. And so, you know, if this administration is openly welcoming people to come here illegally, which they have, that invites all kinds of really bad activity. And I'll just give you like the best example of how Remain in Mexico or the migrant protection protocols worked, is that when somebody's coming here seeking asylum from Central or South America, there's a process. And under President Trump, they said, we're not going to just release you into the interior of the United States. Mexico's the waiting room. So while you're awaiting your asylum claim, for your asylum hearing, and by the way, 9 out of 10 of those are bogus, okay? You're going to remain in Mexico. What did that do? Well, first of all, it prevented a lot of people from being released and never to see them again. But it also, to the cartels, the incentive for them to illegally get them across the border, knowing that they get paid for that, it was removed. And so it's something like that. There's nothing, I tell even my Democrat friends this, there is nothing compassionate at all about this border policy that Joe Biden has. Nothing. Because people are being taken advantage of. Members of families back home are being killed. So there are bad people taking advantage of vulnerable folks. But most importantly for our communities right now, the amount of violence and drugs that are coming in openly. And by the way, the Biden administration, they're moving people by bus and airplane in.
Yeah.
I mean, this is remarkable. I don't think you've ever had a president in American history that welcomes this kind of illegal activity and encourages it. And it's just got to stop.
Speaking with the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Eric Schmitt, right now, I want to ask you a question because I hear, this term is used frequently. I think I know what it means, but I'm not 100% sure I know the entirety of what it means. We understand that drugs are coming in. We understand that drugs are being sold. It's a lucrative industry. But I think that people don't necessarily fully understand what human trafficking is and what that means, the dangers of it being in our own backyard. Can you explain that really in context of how this comes across the southern border, but what does it mean to traffic a human?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think part of this and understanding, because it seems like a foreign concept to a lot of people. And I think in their mind, they think of the movie Taken, right? Where somebody's abducted and then they're sold. And that does happen. But I would say that there's two big areas of trafficking three that take place here in the United States. And Missouri has been a leader on this. Now, the Post-Dispatch will never cover it because it would mean giving, me credit for something. But we have taken the lead. We led a multi-state coalition this summer that led to, over 100 arrests and dozens of arrests and hundreds of people being rescued from this. There's three main types that we see. First, from Asia, mostly from China. People are smuggled across. Not smuggled across, but they essentially come here under false pretenses with fake information, and they're never seen again. And that works to the authorities. But there's a network of massage parlors, for example, illicit massage parlors. So we have something called the Hope Initiative, where we're exposing these illicit massage parlors that are just fronts for human trafficking. These women typically are moved from place to place. They never establish, long-term relationships with anybody here. They're taught to not trust law enforcement. It's the kind of places that blinds are drawn. You have to enter from the side, get buzzed in. And so we're working to eliminate that. We're the first state to really kind of take that on. And Alaska just reached out to us last week. Kentucky's following our model. That's one instance. The second is kind of homegrown, where you literally have heartbreaking stories. We've had operations with the FBI, Highway Patrol, and others in truck stops in Missouri, where mothers and boyfriends are trafficking people with kids in the back. And this is, it's devastating. It's incredibly sad. And so we're working on that. But what you're getting to on the southern border, this is more aligned with the cartel networks that exist for transporting drugs across the border. And while they have those networks established and they'll bring somebody across, they'll get paid, or maybe they won't even tell them they're going to get paid, but they say, you're going to pay us now, or we're going to kill you or execute your family. They have a business maybe somewhere in Kansas City or in Denver that business has a relationship with the cartels, and that person's an indentured servant for 10 years, right? So they make just enough to survive. But if they ever leave, if they ever break that contract and the business, they will murder their family back home. That's the kind of brutality we're dealing with. So again, when you have an open border, when you encourage this kind of activity, you're not helping anybody. You're making it much more dangerous for people in our communities, people who are coming across. And we have to end this. It's pretty simple. Build the wall. Have the Remain in Mexico policy and be serious. Give law enforcement the tools to actually arrest people and send them back at the border.
It's such a heartbreaking but important thing to understand what is actually going on. And I'm glad you were willing to answer that, because I think it's one of those things that we get talking about so frequently that we don't ever really stop. You almost get to the point where you're like, I'm too afraid to even ask exactly what this is.
I'm glad you asked the question, because it's hard. I mean, we've got a little more time than like a 1-minute soundbite when you're doing like Tucker Carlson or something, or show like that, you can go into it a little bit more with radio. But we have an anti-human trafficking task force. We work with victim groups. So like when we do a raid, we have victim services there. We have medical services there. We're working with law enforcement to go up the chain and try to find ringleaders of these operations. So it's very important to me because I think it is, at its most basic levels, taking advantage of people. And it has real cost for real human beings that most of us probably don't see. But if we're looking out for things at truck stops or places like that, if people look like they're not making eye contact or they're attached to somebody that looks a little weird, those are the kinds of things we teach people to look out for with a lot of the training. We work with hospitals to talk to their staff about what you should look for if somebody comes in and something doesn't look right. And so, there's human trafficking that takes place, and I mentioned those three kind of main ways that it happens, but it's a tragedy.
So, Eric Schmitt, before we let you go, you've got, are you one of 14 attorneys general that have done this so far?
Yep.
So where are the
absolutely.
other 36 plus? I don't know if we have more than 50, but are you going to have more people join? I mean, do those other 36 attorneys general feel like Mayorkas is doing a bang up job?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But
I would love to.
I felt it was important. And listen, we have taken the lead on this. Missouri, I've said every state's a border state, but Missouri with Texas has filed these landmark cases. So I view Missouri's role as speaking on behalf of the other states that aren't technically on the southern border, but feel the impact of that kind of illegal immigration, what it's having on our communities, and just the general lawlessness. And to have a president that's willing to undermine the rule of law for, I guess, political purposes. But either way, it's wrong and we need to stand up to it.
Yeah, the law is the law, and we're glad that you're standing up for it. That's your job, and you're doing a great job. Thank you so much for the time today. I can't wait to see what you do next week. We'll be in touch.
I'm sure we'll be talking about something.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, thanks.
Talk to you again soon. Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Eric Schmitt, right there. Gosh. Human trafficking, I mean,
yeah,
seemed like a basic question. I Googled it before, real quick before I asked him that question, because I'm sitting here going, is this a stupid question? Because I have an idea of what I think it is. But that's an in-depth look at something that I understand it a part of, but I don't think I understood to that extent. And I'm sure that there is way more where that comes from. And I don't know. I want to know more. Just want it to stop, of course. Let's take a quick break. We've got Ryan Wiggins coming back in the 2:00 hour, so you're going to want to stick around for that. Come join us on the live chat, the Annie Frey YouTube channel. I got the shades drawn in here. Maybe it's sunny and 75 out there, Brad. I can't even tell.
No, it's 20 and cloudy is what my computer says.
So the shades are drawn and it's 75 and sunny. It just is. I mean, good grief. This entire show is basically proving that you can be whatever you want to be, right? That's the world we live in right now. And I want it to be 84 degrees. 84 is the perfect temperature, maybe 86.
That's a little warm for
Heck
me.
no. You want to be able to walk around, cool breeze.
83.
83?
83.
I'm going to say 86. You let us know what your favorite temperature is. We'll be back with more Annie Frey Show in a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. The Mark Reardon Show.
Schmitt Dogan is back with us this afternoon.
I think there's just so many people who've held on to a mask as kind of a symbol of being a good person, and it's not.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Don't you wish fixing your car was simple? Mark Cox here. Today, cars have more tech than the first spaceship that went to the moon. It's guaranteed something's going to break. That's why I have a protection plan through CarShield. When I need a repair, I choose the mechanic. CarShield administrators take care of the rest. These plans through CarShield even provide rental car options and roadside assistance and trip reimbursement, all at no extra cost. Getting the coverage is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, contact CarShield for a free quote. 2, tell them about your vehicle. 3, choose the protection you need. That's it. Whether your car has 5,000 miles or 150,000 miles, CarShield has options to fit your budget. Get your coverage today. Go to carshield.com/Cox or call 800-391-8888 to save 10%. That's carshield.com/Cox or 800-391-8888 to save 10%. A deductible may apply.
It's time for Edwards Carpet's President's Day sale. Come on down and get great sale prices on carpet, wood, sheet vinyl, and all types of the newest luxury vinyl tile and planks. Low prices, fully guaranteed installation, and you can work with the same consultant through your entire project. Even the best floors are affordable with our 0% financing. There are limited quantities of some of our specials, so hurry in for your best selection. Edwards Carpet, serving St. Louis for 83 years.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low 2.25% rate.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. Offset high prices with lower monthly payments or turn your home equity into cash.
Lock in this low rate while you can. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, join my blues.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.336% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage. As we go into a new year, it is a great time to get started on a new home loan. If you've been thinking about a cash-out refinance to pay off debt or update your home, act now while equity is at an all-time high and interest rates are still at historic lows. Maybe it's the year that you're going to reduce your term or get rid of the dreaded PMI. Perhaps this is the year that you buy a new home. Call me now so you can shop with confidence. When you call, there will be no gimmicks or sales pitch, just straightforward, upfront information on refinancing and home buying options. So call me today, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224-143, NMLS 250353.
Stretch your dollar with 11% off everything at Menards. Need a new power tool? Pick one up for 11% off. How about some paint? You guessed it, all 11% off. A new washing machine? That's 11% off too. You could even save 11% on an entire house. There's no limit to what you can save with 11% off everything. Good through February 26th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I think, again, the challenge here is Vladimir Putin doesn't seem to care. He knew that these sanctions were coming. I think the U.S. had communicated to Russia precisely the kind of sanctions that would be coming. So I don't think he's in any way caught off guard by this announcement.
So former advisor, President Obama's advisor, Ben Rhodes that was on MSNBC, suggesting that the strategy so far, the Biden strategy so far, for Vladimir Putin has not been working. Ned Price is the State Department spokesperson. He just delivered some sort of press conference and took questions. We're going to skip the speaking part, and we're going to go straight to the questions because that's where you usually get to the meat of this. Go ahead, Brad. Let's pull Ned Price in here and listen to what he had to say.
I have a question about the Houthi sanctions, but it's largely semantic, so I'll leave it till later. On Nord Stream 2, you guys have been saying for months indeed for over a year since the waivers were first granted that in fact this gave you additional leverage withholding the sanctions and would serve as a deterrent. Clearly, it didn't. It didn't provide you with any leverage at all that we can tell because of what you just said in your opening statement about the invasion beginning. So, how do you explain to people why you didn't impose these sanctions earlier?
So, Matt, it's important, and let's just rewind the tape and remember what has happened in recent hours. Yesterday, within a short time frame of the Russian invasion beginning, Germany took decisive, resolute action to take Nord Stream 2 off the table. Today, we followed with our own complementary authorities using the powers and capabilities that we have. We have always said, in the context of Nord Stream 2, in the context of the steps that we are taking with partners and allies around the world, that one of the most important tools we have in our arsenal is transatlantic unity. The fact that Germany acted so quickly, so decisively, is in many ways a product of the coordination, of the consultation we have done now with two successive German governments. Of course, it started with Chancellor Merkel and her government, and in more recent months, we have had concerted discussions with Chancellor Scholz and his government. The fact that we are acting in unison immediately to take these steps that essentially remove Nord Stream 2 from the equation, that is a byproduct, that is a result of the work that we have done together with the German government over the course of these last several months, over the course of the last year or so.
So it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that your argument is that if you had imposed the sanctions earlier, the Germans wouldn't have the Germans wouldn't have done what they did yesterday, or it would have been a much bigger lift to get them to do that.
What we have said, and what our strategy has been predicated on the knowledge that transatlantic unity is the most powerful instrument we have.
But look, the pipeline's already been built. Okay. Now, whether it gets turned on or not, is another question.
Right. So
presumably you had more leverage, and I don't understand why you don't think that you would have had more leverage if these sanctions had been imposed before the pipeline was finished.
So, Matt, you also raise a good point. The pipeline, when this administration came into office, was more than 90% complete. We have imposed sanctions under PISA on a number of targets associated with this pipeline, persons and entities. But the fact is that had we sanctioned Nord Stream 2 AG, had we sanctioned its corporate office holders, it is far from clear that would have kept the pipeline from going into operation. What the Germans did yesterday was to ensure that the pipeline is no longer part of the equation. Right. So by acting together with the Germans, how we did, when we did, and the way in which we did, we have ensured that this is an $11 billion prize investment that is now a hunk of steel sitting at the bottom of the sea.
All right. Well, I don't think you can prove, and the converse can't be proven either. But you just don't know if imposing the sanctions earlier would have had more of a deterrent effect or any deterrent.
Well, if we would have made it a sunk cost many months ago for the Russian Federation, I don't think that would have had much deterrent capability.
Well, it hasn't anyway. So I'll leave it there.
Simon.
The secretary obviously said yesterday he had cancelled his meeting with Foreign Minister Lavrov, but you guys remain open to diplomacy. So what exactly would you want to see from Russia in order to, reschedule that meeting, in order to resume some kind of diplomacy, diplomatic talks between you? And just an additional one, you've sort of, this is part of the first tranche of sanctions, the Nord Stream 2 sanctions that just came out. Is that the end of the first tranche, or is there more coming in that? And can you say whether more sanctions actions will be taken if Russia, doesn't escalate further from where it is now?
Well, the question you ask is what we would like to see. Let me start by answering that question by letting you know what we no longer will engage in. And that is the pretense of diplomacy. You heard the secretary use that phrase yesterday, and that is what we have seen. This is and has been, in some ways, diplomatic kabuki theater on the part of the Russians, making statements that they are committed to a diplomatic path while their actions suggest exactly the opposite. That is not an environment in which diplomacy can achieve the results that it needs to achieve. Our goal here, even as the Russian invasion of Ukraine is beginning, is to avert the worst case scenario that we have warned about for some time now. And we have gone into great detail in terms of what that could look like. Electronic warfare, in a fuller scale invasion, an attack on major urban centers, including Kyiv, a city of 2.9 million people, horrific human rights abuses, atrocities, potential war crimes. These are all things that, even as the invasion is beginning, we are going to do everything that we reasonably can to prevent from happening. And so that's why, together with our allies and partners, we absolutely remain open to diplomacy, but only if Moscow is serious. We are not going to engage in this pretense with them, during which they draw out the process, suggest one thing, do another, ready their preparations, move their forces closer to the border, develop and refine their plans as they give the world a head fake that they are actually committed to the diplomatic path. Now, there are a number of ways that Moscow could indicate that it is serious. It essentially boils down to de-escalation. That would be the most concrete, the clearest indication that diplomacy has the potential to bear fruit, that diplomacy has the potential to save lives. That is the kind of diplomacy we are interested in. That is also not the kind of diplomacy that we have seen any indication as of yet that Moscow is interested in. Vivian.
Can you comment on the reports that the U.S. informed the Ukrainian government that an attack could happen as soon as tonight, and that Kharkiv is possibly in the line of attack, that it could be directly that the Russian troops could roll over the border and attack Kharkiv tonight?
What I'll say about those reports is they are entirely consistent with what we have been saying for some time now, that Russia has amassed forces along Ukraine's borders, in Belarus, positioned the assets, the heavy weaponry, the soldiers, the service members it would need to undertake an invasion of Ukraine at a moment's notice. That has been true for some time now. So for several days now, we have said the invasion is potentially imminent, meaning it could start today, it could start tomorrow, it could start next week. What we haven't seen is, and this goes back to Simon's question, is any indication that the Russians are backing away from this. We have not seen any data points that alleviate the grave concern, the profound concern that we've been expressing for some time now. So the invasion remains potentially imminent, and Moscow is poised to do precisely the kinds of things that you just outlined.
You've been listening to Ned Price, who is the State Department spokesman, answering questions from the press after a bit of a press conference earlier today. Here's some interesting facts. These are from Fox News and the International Institute for Strategic Studies. Ukraine versus Russia. In active personnel, Russia, 900,000. Ukraine, 209,000. Reserve personnel, Ukraine, 900,000 reserve personnel. Russia, 2 million. Artillery, Russia, 4,684. 1,818 for Ukraine. Armored personnel carriers, which is different than tanks, because tanks is the next one. Russia's 6,100 to Ukraine's 622. Tanks, Russia's 2,840 to Ukraine's 858. Attack helicopters, Russia's 394 to Ukraine's 35. Active Air Force planes, Ukraine's 125 to Russia's 1,000. That's the breakdown of strength on each of those sides. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Ryan Wiggins back in studio with us for the 2 o'clock hour. Invite you to come join us as well. We need 48 people to subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel to tip us over the 2,700 mark as we get a little closer and closer to that 3,000 mark. We're going to have a fun next week on the YouTube channel for the State of the Union. You're going to want to be a part of that as well. So just go ahead and come subscribe. If you're listening to us on 97.1 FM Talk and you want to take us back to the office, put us up on the Odyssey app. We'll be right back.
Everyone deserves the retirement they have always wanted. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, protecting your life savings along with growth potential is key. When your nest egg is protected from market losses, the fear and anxiety of not being able to retire are no longer part of the equation. That is the first step. Our sole focus is on you. I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group, and we'll show you how to protect your retirement accounts from market losses and generate more income than most investment options. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. We'll design your own personalized, structured income plan that will show you exactly how to retire comfortably. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. I've been helping retirees and pre-retirees to retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Start the new year on a better foot. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
If you have anything to ask me, just go ahead.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Cloudy and cold going through the afternoon. 32 degrees and snow and sleet will be developing by late afternoon and into the evening. This first wave doesn't last very long, an inch or less accumulation. Thursday, snow and sleet kicking back into gear Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. That should bring 2, maybe 3 inches of snow and sleet. Obviously, it's cold. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
The U.S. ups the ante. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden announcing a new penalty for Russian aggression in Ukraine. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
A day after Germany suspended certification of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, President Biden imposed sanctions on the corporate officers of the energy project, part of what the White House says is a coordinated response with allies. President Biden says the latest sanctions are another piece of the initial tranche in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and further steps will be taken if Russia continues to escalate. Yesterday, the president ordered sanctions on Russian financial institutions, as well as oligarchs and their families. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. The EU announcing a new round of sanctions today as well. Many Americans don't support much U.S. involvement in the conflict. In a new AP Nork Center poll, just over 1/4 surveyed say the U.S. should have a major role. More than half support a minor role. 20% say no role at all, even though the poll also finds 53% extremely or very concerned that Russia's influence around the world poses a threat to the U.S. That's up from 45% last August. It's been nearly 2 years since the botched police raid that killed Breonna Taylor in Kentucky. Her neighbor on the witness stand today for the trial of the only officer charged, accused of endangering neighbors.
1 or 2 more inches and I would have been shot, which kind of upsets me because I think about it all the time and I'm like, my son would have never even got to meet me. I would have never even got to meet my son.
Cody Etherington also describing gunfire coming through the wall. Former officer Brett Hankison is charged with wanton endangerment. The defense says the scene was chaotic and he was doing his job. Day 1 of jury deliberations in Minnesota for 3 former officers accused of violating George Floyd's civil rights in a federal case. America is listening to Fox News.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
What's your top voting issue for 2022? Mandates, CRT, cancel culture? Join Mark Cox and 97.1 FM Talk as we bring you live coverage of CPAC 2022. It's the biggest conservative gathering in America and just where we belong. This Thursday and Friday, Mark is live in Orlando, Florida with the top guests and issues that matter to you. Brought to you by Hanson's Tree Service and Victory Men's Health.
Lakeside Renovation and Design, where you're going to go to get windows replaced with the experts. If you've got if you don't need your windows replaced, then I guess you could just move on to the next thing for the time being. But if you do, and you have noticed that those windows are drafty and they're leaky, and you're looking for a great place to go, you're going to get your money's worth when you go to Lakeside Renovation and Design. You get access to those Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows. You can't get anywhere else because they are exclusive to Lakeside Renovation and Design. And also, just as a personal note, Lakeside partners with 97.1 and they've partnered with this show. They believe in this show and they believe in you, the audience, and they want to reach you. They value you. So when you are looking to do your window replacements, or if you are looking to do an interior renovation on your home, an exterior renovation on your home, make sure you understand that Lakeside, they like you. And they want to do business with you. And of course, they want your business, but these are good people. And when you go with Lakeside, you're kind of keeping it in the family. And I really appreciate that as well, because they help bring free radio and put food on my table. So let's have them come to your house and check out your window situation. You're going to get the very best with Lakeside Renovation and Design. Wonderful people, quality products, the best quality products installed in the best possible way. Reach them online at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com.
Life happens, and suddenly you need to sell your home. When life happens, for whatever the reason, you need a real estate agent you can trust and count on to help sell your home for the highest price with the least hassle possible. Hey, it's Mark Cox here. I'm sure you know a realtor or two. Everyone does. But I only trust and endorse one agent. Let me tell you about my friend and realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and why you should call. Gloria Liu already has thousands of buyers. She has the experience and the expertise to help you when you need it most. Fact is, Gloria sells 2 times faster for 5% more money on average when compared to other agents, just like she did for Gary in St. Louis, thousands over asking price. When life happens, call the real estate agent I trust. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. That's right. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings and lose the weight. That's right. Seminars, Sunday, February 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suite, St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 to 4 p.m. And Monday, February 28th at the Four Points by the Sheraton Hotel in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 to 10 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like. Or catch up on entire shows within 24 hours of air. 97.1 FM Talk. Experience the rewind with the Odyssey app. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I can't contain it anymore. And it's not funny. It's scary. But every time I look up at the lower third on Fox News, they say the same thing differently. Russia attack on Ukraine imminent. One of them said, Russia ready to attack as they'll ever be, or something like that.
They've changed it 3 times in the last 3 minutes.
Yes, because I was saying the other two out loud, and I just look up there again, and it says something different. But the same.
Each one sounds just a tiny incrementally bit more close to war.
I'm gonna get you.
Like every minute that goes
really
by,
close.
they're going, oh, wait, we're even more close now than we were a minute ago.
Can you imagine
Russia
Putin,
showdown?
Like, all right, step forward, and then they just take one step.
It just changed again.
Russia troops, quote, ready to go now.
Ready to go now.
Is this helpful?
I don't know what they're doing. I honestly don't know exactly what this looks like in eastern Ukraine. Are there explosions going off right now? I don't think there are.
Rob Kramer saw me in the kitchen yesterday. Yesterday, I interviewed 3 people on this very issue. And he's like, so Rob Kramer goes, I've been busy in meetings all day. He goes, so what's the deal? Is Russia like in Ukraine right now? I'm like, I interviewed 3 people. I'm not 100% sure.
Exactly.
And I was like, what? I'm useless.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to know. I saw Craig, one of our top salesperson for like the whole Odyssey St. Louis company. And he's like, I didn't get to hear today because I was apparently yesterday was a lot of meetings. And he's like, what's going on? And same question. And I was like,
we can tell you that the headlines keep changing. That's about it.
Except they're the same.
They're the same
same headlines,
but different. Over and over and over.
So are we? I mean, I haven't really talked to you about this week because you filled in for me Monday when I was off for President's Day, and
you filled in for me yesterday.
I didn't.
On your show. I'm getting a look now.
I hate how much some people thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was great.
Are you like, where are you at on this?
I honestly, it's confusing because Putin puts out press releases that you never can trust. But then Biden says things that you're like, are you sure you know what's going on? And you're not sure whether he's gaslighting you or he just doesn't know what he's doing.
Biden isn't saying much.
No, not about details. He's not, but he's puffing his chest up like he's trying to be tough. And it looks kind of embarrassing when he does it because he can't do it and he's not speaking well, as everybody knows. And then like a couple weeks ago when this thing was really starting to ramp up and then the trucker thing from Canada became the story and everybody kind of backed off of this a little bit, even though it was still going on. did you see CNN aired this on CNN, their own White House correspondent questioning the State Department's info on Russia. And this is a guy who's been in the State Department for probably 20 something years going, why aren't you giving us the information? You're just saying things. Give us what you have.
Biden gave Russia a list of entities to not attack.
How timely is that?
I don't know what you're talking about. Biden knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, you can turn my sound up, Brad. Listen, this is
in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare?
Excuse me, what?
In the Lord's name?
Did you hear his speech from yesterday?
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare?
This is what I deduced from that yesterday. He said what he said. I'm sorry, I can't listen to the substance of what he's saying because I'm so distracted by how he's saying it. And the whole world is the same way. He cannot deliver a message. We called it rally Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Rally Trump is different than teleprompter Trump. And the more serious that an issue was, the more Trump stuck to the teleprompter. And when he read straight from the teleprompter, you knew that it was very important that every word had been, thought over and mulled over. Every word had to be said the way it needed to be said because the people who manage usually had to do a foreign policy that if you get one word out of order, it could cause a whole thing. Right. So he would go straight on teleprompter. He also would not change his tone.
Mm-hmm.
There was an intermediate level of speech that he would give where he would go off teleprompter, or we've talked about this before, is my favorite part about what Donald Trump would do is he would be delivering a speech and he'd be reading and then he'd stop and he'd go, "That's true."
So true. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah. I don't know why we're stopping to go, actually, that's quite factual.
Yeah. At the end of a sentence, you're like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Joe Biden doesn't have that. He is supposed to be reading, especially in a moment like this. And yesterday, when he says this,
who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to?
You know that he's reading that. He is reading that word for word. I am shocked. And, some people are saying, Annie, you shouldn't be shocked by this. I am surprised. I'm very surprised that angry Joe Biden is actually scripted Joe Biden. I thought that if he were to deliver that the way it was supposed to be delivered, it would have felt to me like something that he was honestly saying. Because he has angry, get off my lawn, Joe Biden down pretty good. I think I thought that was pretty genuine. I don't know that it entirely is, or at least isn't as genuine as I thought it was supposed to be.
Chiron changed again. Soon, DOD White House updates as invasion may be imminent.
Maybe.
And again,
are we going backwards?
A big nothing here. We don't know.
This is why this frustrates me. Because, yeah, it's Fox News. I understand that. Don't make me, when you're waiting for a hurricane to land, like it's a very morbid process. All the people on the TV screen do is tell you about the massive destruction that is about to hit. And it's so important that you understand how horrific this destruction is going to be that they put their own people in the freaking hurricane to show you how bad it is. And you watch to see, honestly, if they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to get hit by a flying trash can and you'll see it live on TV? That's the whole shtick. And the whole point of that is to make you watch. These lower thirds have been on the screen for weeks. This is not like a last 24 hours thing. These have been on the screen for weeks, and I don't want to be baited. I also want to know what the world is going on in the world, and I care. But I'm like, it's to me, this part of this situation, the way the lower thirds are being presented, the way the headlines are being presented to us on the news is becoming a joke.
Does it seem to you like this issue in particular is one that if you're plugged into the news and politics the way that we are, the way that if you're listening to the station right now, you're very in tune to it and you're very interested and you're watching it pretty closely. Outside of that, does the average person know what's happening or even really is really invested in this issue much, do you think?
I asked John Shimkus about that yesterday, who has a breadth of knowledge about the Ukraine geographical position, as well as the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian government. Very highly recommend you go check the Annie Frey Show podcast to listen to that interview if you missed it. But he said, he goes, in his former line of work, because he's a retired congressman, he goes, I would have watched the minute by minute, blow by blow of this. And he's like, I'm not doing that right now. And to me, if he's choosing not to do that, that says something to me that this is not an instance where, because what the average Joe who might be aware of this going on, what they want to know is, are we going to war? I mean, really,
Right.
that's the line. We're not.
And
Right.
what are my gas prices going to be? That's the secondary issue for the average person, I think.
Yeah.
Another random angle on this, as you look at these maps, showing the different strategies, the different possibility angles that Russia might come into Eastern Ukraine. Do you ever sit back and politics aside, I mean, you can't get politics aside because it's all a political issue, but our politics aside, do you ever go, what makes in the heart of Putin makes him think, what would be best for us is if we invade Ukraine? Because Russia sucks. Russia's a horrible place to live. Why would you think, what we need to do is take what's happening here, take that into somewhere else, make them experience what we already experience.
Russia doesn't suck for Putin, though.
I was just gonna say, misery loves company, and Putin just, I mean, it's not about what's good for Russia. Like, it has nothing to do with anything but a dictatorial, narcissistic power. I mean,
and that, like, you asking that question brings up something I was thinking about earlier today. We as Westerners think of things from a Western mindset with Western logic, Western reasoning. That's not the same mindset that people from Russia think, or in China. They don't think with that same logic and reasoning. So like, it makes me wonder, like, maybe the people that are heading up our foreign policy don't realize that there's a different mindset, a different way of thinking, different values, different goals. It's just different. It's like a whole different paradigm.
I don't think that the people heading up our foreign policy right now do think in a pro-Western way. There's a lot of apology that exists out. Like, there's a lot of penance that is due for our bold and brazen American way of how awesome we are in America. Obviously, America first. That was the other guy's policy. America first. And how just selfish, how horribly self-centered and conceited to think to put yourself first. Well, newsflash, we can't help anybody else if we don't take care of our business at home first. The same thing goes for you in your own home. If you were to go out and take care of everybody else before you take care of your home, you have nothing at home to take care of anybody else with. That is obvious and basic. You have to take care of what is going on in your own life in order to be able to give forth towards other people and to help other people. When we decide to protect ourselves, to protect our southern border, I don't know, did you hear Schmitt on the 14 attorneys general across the United States coming together to call for Secretary Mayorkas's resignation, who heads up Homeland Security? The southern border it should be the most important thing on the federal government's list of to-dos, is to make sure that we have safe and secure borders. That's basic. You would think it shouldn't be a priority because it would be on such lock that we would have that under control, because it is so basic and fundamental. Like, when you were a child, did you ever build forts as a child?
Uh-huh.
Did you ever build forts as a child, Brad?
Yes.
You had to think.
Like, all the time.
Yes. What's the first thing you do when you build a fort? What is the fort?
It's probably the couch or the pillow.
Yeah,
you start with
the couch cushions.
Yeah.
Barriers.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes it a fortress, the only thing that makes it cool, is that you have defined your own space. Kids get it. You don't say, this is my area, and it's a wide open space. You don't go out onto the family farm. I grew up on a farm. You don't go out into the patch and be like, this is my grass and this is my space. When you want to have your own sovereign space and you're 8 and it's the most fun thing you can do, first thing you do is you establish boundaries. And then the second thing you do is figure out a really sweet contraption to get goods in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Well, yes, and a catapult.
Goods in and out.
Well, I guess so.
That could be goods.
You could throw that.
Goods out.
And maybe second is also self-defense.
Maybe.
But honestly, you kind of need the self-defense while you're establishing the boundaries.
But all these things are still good parts of the analogy.
Right?
Yeah.
And kids get it. They understand it. The people who are leading our country right now, they either get it or they don't. I don't believe that they don't get it. It's too obvious for them to not get it. It's so obvious that if you said to your child, your nephew, or your grandkid, or your niece, you said, hey, let's build a fort, they're running to get the pillows or the coffee or the TV trays or the blankets in order to create walls and barriers and something that will distinguish this cool new space that is ours to do what we want in it, like play games. It's simple. Kids get it. The administration gets it too, and they're electing to not do something about it, which is why I'm haunted by the conversation that you brought to Wiggins America that one time, Ryan, about Ted Cruz impeaching Joe Biden with a Republican majority because he has abdicated his responsibility to protect our southern border, and I'm like for it.
Oh, okay.
Impeach him.
Yeah, I don't know that have you evolved on that a bit?
No, I mean I evolved in the conversation. You said, should we impeach Biden? I said no, and then Ted Cruz made the case, who is a senator from Texas and a genius and, a legal genius and somebody who is very compelling in the way he makes arguments. And I'm not like a Ted Cruiser. I think he's great. Would I like Ted Cruz to be my senator? Oh my gosh, yes, that would be fantastic. But he's not like, if I'm picking like, Annie, who's your number one conservative? Ted Cruz is not there for me. But, he's good in the capacity that he serves, and I think he's a good senator. Him making the case that Joe Biden's handling of our southern border and lack of responsibility that he's taken to make sure it's secure as an impeachable offense is infinitely more impeachable than anything that they tried to throw at Donald Trump.
It's completely true.
It's actually like, if you're not going to impeach him for that, who are we impeaching for?
Yeah, why are you doing anything?
Why do we have impeachment?
Why do we have national sovereignty?
Exactly.
Is the question, So that's impeachable for sure. If you're deciding we're not going to have national sovereignty, we're not going to enforce any sort of immigration law, that's ridiculous.
The only way that I want to see an impeachment of Joe Biden on that issue is if I feel as though it would actually make a difference. If we impeach him and we show that the policies or the executive orders that he's put into place are unlawful and that he's not willing to pull back on them, and that makes our border safer and more secure, let's do it. If it's so that we can try to win even bigger in a midterm or in a general election, I'm not there for that. Let's get back to the policies. Let's take a quick break. More of this conversation and your comments when we come back. Join us on the Annie Frey live stream on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 2,700 YouTube subscribers. We need about 32, I think, to get to 2,700. You got to subscribe for us. We'd love to have it. Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in just a minute. It's 2:23. Donate your car to Goodwill. Get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. 97.1 FM Talk. Uncensored discussion that's free in more ways than one. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
Can't be understated how much getting a certain space in your house organized is really, really going to benefit the way you were able to live within your home. And I'm thinking about in my house, we took care of the bedrooms upstairs and the closets and repurposed them so that we could fit the extra kiddo that we added last year into the bedrooms because we don't have enough bedrooms for them each to have their own. And now it's starting to kind of hit the rest of the house. So we've got a lot of baby things around the home. We've got kids bringing home stuff from school, backpacks, all that type of stuff. The Closet Factory can come into your home for particular issues like this. Maybe you got grandkids who come and go, and they come and go with stuff, of course, and create customized storage areas within your home. Maybe it's your pantry in your kitchen, and you need to upgrade the storage so that everything has a place. Maybe it's your home office that you've been making do for some time. You're not going to go back to being, in the office. You're going to be working from home. They can come to your house and customize a solution for you and even make it a multi-purpose solution for the family. Reach out to the Closet Factory, great sponsors here of the Annie Frey Show 97.1, by calling 314-961-4300. 314-961-4300. Mention the Annie Frey Show if you don't mind when you call to let them know where you heard about them from. Online at closetfactory.com.
30 years ago, in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Crown Heights, a car accident set off 4 days of unrest. 2 people died, hundreds were arrested. I'm Collier Meyerson, and my new show, Love Thy Neighbor, explores what came to be known as the Crown Heights Riot. It's a story about New York's first Black mayor, the rise of Rudy Giuliani, and the Lubavitch Jewish and Caribbean communities sitting at the center of it all. You can listen to new episodes of Love Thy Neighbor every week wherever you listen, or you can binge the entire series exclusively on Odyssey.
Hi, this is Lance Deroy with the Lance Deroy Law Firm in St. Louis. I meet regularly with people who haven't filed tax returns in years. Did you know that if you have unfiled tax returns, you can be subject to jail time? That's right. The maximum penalty can be 1 year of jail. The maximum penalty can be 1 year of jail time for every year of unfiled returns. So liens, wage garnishments, and bank levies should be the least of your worries if you have unfiled returns. Instead, you should get straight with the IRS and file those returns as soon as possible. Call the Lance Deroy Law Firm today and meet with me. Together, we can resolve your tax problems before it comes to a prison sentence. Don't worry about not having records or receipts. The Lance Deroy Law Firm can help you find the information you need to get the returns prepared and filed. As an attorney, I am trained to put pieces of your tax puzzle together for you. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Deroy, 314-260-6120, or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great! Because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
I can't believe I get to say this, but it's an honor and a privilege to tell you that yes, it's cold. Yes, this week's going to be cold, but grilling season is right around the corner. Do you know how I know? Because we're talking about Andrea's sauce again. So Andrea's sauce is made right here in St. Louis. It is internationally famous, but locally made. And you should get a bottle right now just to remind yourself that grilling season is within a couple weeks. No kidding, because man, does it not feel like it yet. So grab a bottle. It is hitting shelves now in anticipation of the weather starting to warm up here within just a couple weeks. No kidding. Andreas.com is where you can get a bottle shipped right to your door. But also if you're at Deerberg's or Schnucks, they're always there. Some Walmarts too, and Straub's now carries it. Pick up a bottle of their salad dressing while you're at it. It's extremely unique, just like their steak sauce. Very different, but they're chefs. That's what they do. Again, internationally famous, locally made right here in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. Andrea's Steak Sauce, Andreas.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Now and then I think of when we were together. Like when you said you felt so happy you could die. I told myself that you were right for me. It felt so lonely in your company. But that was love and it's innate, I still remember.
This is a good song. It was played so much.
Mm-hmm. In about what, 2013, 14, right around there?
Good grief. I don't even know.
All I remember is that was an era where I was trying to swim and get in shape a lot. And they would play this song in the gym.
2011.
This is a terrible gym song.
It's not a good gym song. That's my point. It gets going. By the end, it's fine. But
unless
it takes
you're
a while.
unless you're like revenge. What do you call that? Revenge getting in shape?
Revenge swimming?
No, just like you get dumped and you're like, I'm gonna get ripped. I'm gonna get looking hot. And then you go work out and then you're doing this and then this starts and then you're like, pumping iron and crying at the same time. I'm gonna be so hard.
I'd love to see that.
I'm just talking about that one time I saw you at the gym.
Oh, no, you're not.
It didn't
No, you're
make
not.
sense to me,
I
but
wasn't crying because of a breakup.
Yeah,
It's
I
crying.
got married in 2007.
It's
I don't
too
think I was
hard.
crying to this song.
It's too heavy. Ryan, it's just the bar.
I'm like,
I tell you what, though, if I saw some guy or girl, mainly a guy, in the gym doing that, I would be very, very tempted to tape them. Look at this guy.
Hey, Ryan-
This guy won't stop, man. He's going at it, but he is weeping.
Ryan would be the guy that would set up his camera like he's filming
turn
himself.
that music back up.
Yeah. No, it's getting good now. If you turn it back up, it's a good part.
It's a good song.
It is a good song.
You hear it now and you're like, yeah, I'll turn that up. But I mean, you ever have songs that if you hear, you just like can't push the buttons, like anything. You're like turning the heat on in your car to try to make things go away fast enough. And he's like, I can.
Yeah.
There are some songs like that just I can't handle.
You know what's funny? There are songs, and I don't know if that one would qualify as one, but they fall into a lot of songs that will fall into genres that end up getting played for years.
Mhm.
You know, classic rock or alternative 90s stuff, or even pop, pop 80s, whatever. But there are songs that are really cool, but they don't fall into a genre or an era that they just kind of get forgotten.
Mhm.
And I wonder if that'll happen to that one.
I love finding those again, though.
Me too.
I wonder if with the amount of different opportunities, I mean, I'm a huge supporter of listening to the radio, certainly with music as well. We've got our sister stations here, Y98, 1041, 96.3. Is that all of them? KZK.
Yeah. Yes.
102.5.
I was not keeping track as you were listening.
I was walking through in my mind the halls of the studios and trying to make sure I got them all. KMOX, of course. But I mean, people do have a lot of options to listen to music. So I would assume that there's a challenge for those radio stations as well to play music not the way we had it when radio was essentially all we had.
Well, so much of it's about testing. How does an audience respond to a song? And there's so many metrics now with the little pager things that
Mhm.
people wear that they can tell if a song gets turned off a lot, and they just won't play that song anymore. It's pretty cool, but on some level you're like, where's the heart? I want to see some heart.
I also wonder if songs are allowed to DOT brief
Just
is
go
official
ahead.
warns official Russia attack imminent.
Yeah. It's another new
didn't
one.
the last one we saw said maybe imminent or something? Maybe going to happen
invading.
later-ish.
Oh, it just changed again, by the way. Pentagon briefs as Russia tensions escalate. Seriously, how many chyrons are they going to do in 20 minutes?
I don't know. We're going to find out. It's unbelievable. I'm wearing the shirt you gave me.
Yeah.
It says Annie's on it. I said one time on the air, well, that's not fair. I said one time on the air that it was like one of my bucket list life goals to get an Orphan Annie shirt from Centralia High School, Centralia, Illinois. They're the orphans. If you don't know that, a lot of people know that Freeburg is the midgets. That made national news maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Mhm.
I remember it was on the Bill O'Reilly show. He was covering it and it's like
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Defending, because there was a lot of pushback. I mean, like this is pre woke oversaturation.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, the midgets, really? And then it became a national news story. And newsflash, they're still the Freeburg midgets. So you know how that story ends.
Good for them.
But the Centralia, Illinois, Centralia High School they're the Centralia orphans, and the girls are the Orphan Annies. And I have always wanted some merch. I don't know if they have merch from the Orphan Annies. And I don't know, it was like my first birthday or something. Ryan got me this shirt, this sweatshirt.
Your first birthday.
I was a
You'll grow into this little girl.
huge baby. It was a size medium adults. Yeah. So I'm wearing my Orphan. I was looking through my closet. And the funny thing was, this got hung up in my closet inside out.
Oh.
And I was like going through, I'm like, what is this? Oh, I'll wear that. So I haven't worn it in a while.
No, you haven't. But I'm glad that it fits. I'm glad that I got the right. I went through
You're
a
glad
lot.
that it fits?
Well, I went through a lot of problems trying to get that thing. I had to talk to the secretary and probably the vice principal or something because there was a lot of, we're
It
going
was
to mail
very
you a
thoughtful
shirt.
of
You
you.
know, it was weird. They don't have like a system for mailing out shirts at Centralia High School.
What high school does?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you try to big league them too?
No, I didn't. In fact, you never know.
Just when you go in and you're like, Annie from the Annie Frey show, and they're like, no.
That is not the approach he would have taken, though.
But you know this. You know this from being you and being on this show. You don't know where people's politics are. So you usually don't lead with, hey, 97.1. You lead with something else like, hey, I'm looking for this. And then usually the conversation will go there. But
the key, though, to understand is that very few people who know my name and know what I do like professionally aren't in my lane. We don't do enough marketing for people to know about us.
True.
We're kind of an underground deal, unfortunately, which is why you should go subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel.
Or buy a billboard.
But yeah, let's do that. I'll even let Ryan Wiggins' face be bigger than mine on the
That'd be
billboard.
great. No, what you'll do though is that you'll have my face so big that your head would just be in my mouth or something. You would not even know what it is.
That's not what we'll do. No, that's definitely not it. I'll look petite. You know what I need? Maybe Hannah's good at this. I need a young person to teach me how to be in pictures.
Oh yeah. Well, don't you know that you turn to the side, you do the flamingo pose.
What?
You have one.
You're looking
leg
pretty
up.
sexy there, Ryan.
You know
Wiggins,
what I'm talking about.
In your Saluki sweatshirt.
One leg up and like your head is tilted to an
you're
exact
supposed,
angle.
Like, I think you're supposed to. Hannah, come in here.
Hannah will probably be able to do it.
Ryan Wiggins is teaching me how to pose for pictures.
Bring your young self in here.
I know Hannah.
It's like this.
I know
hand on
Hannah.
hip.
Hannah has to do a lot to look good in a photograph. She's stunningly beautiful.
I'm doing it into the camera right now. It's like this.
One of my favorite things on. Well, I don't think did you put it on Twitter?
I don't know.
When we were having a competition between Hannah's Twitter and your Twitter, which is just something I made up. So I was having a competition between them. You said that Hannah's account was your burner account. And it's the funniest thing. Every time I think about that, I could be doing anything. And if that comes across, I chuckle out loud.
I'll still claim that.
So Hannah, you have to know how to pose in pictures. There have to be, do you do an, maybe,
do you do a pose whenever there's a group picture?
What
Usually it's a
timeout?
group picture.
Have I misjudged? Because maybe I misjudged.
No, I come from an all-girl family, so we always are taking pictures. So
and you're a dancer.
Yeah, you got to know. You have to be in tune. Like this is how I pose. I'm like,
Yeah, I try to sink my chin into my neck as far as possible.
Yeah. I'm like, how do I show that I
What
haven't
was
had...
that noise?
That's what the picture looks
that's
like.
my
It
girth
sound
coming
the
out.
sound of that is what our pictures look like.
Mhm.
So inventory for us. Like, what do you think? Okay, I have to do this, and this.
Okay. Stand up straight.
Yeah.
No slouching.
Mm-hmm.
Hand on the hip.
Mm-hmm.
In the front of the hip, in the back of the hip.
Make like a claw C shape. Not
Make like a claw and get cranked.
and then
make a spout.
You don't want to lean too far. Like a lot of people like really sink into one leg. I don't think that looks good.
Stand tall.
Stand tall, be confident, hand on the hip, smile naturally.
But a little bit of an angle though too, right? Like this. No,
You're doing it.
Do you remember?
I wish you could see what's happening in here. You can watch the YouTube.
I see those pictures a lot on Facebook. It's always a girl on the far side of the picture, and she's always standing like this, slightly tilted.
Does she look? The thing that frustrates me about it, Hannah, is that they all look like that's how they just naturally stand.
See, that's what I don't like. I think the more natural you look, the better. But
that's why I don't wear makeup.
You lean when someone's leaning super far, that just looks uncomfortable. And then when I look at the picture, it makes me feel uncomfortable because I know that's not how they actually
should a leg be in front of the other leg? I mean, do you want to make your legs look long? You want to look taller?
You got to do a flamingo leg.
Like this.
Ryan has been thinking about this for a long time. Like, I feel like he has a lot of questions on deck.
No, I don't have questions. I got answers.
They might not be correct answers, but he's got answers.
That's right.
I don't know. I think about like when you were in grade school and you had to get your picture taken and how they say to like turn but have your body like still facing the camera. You know? Do you remember that?
I do. Sit like with a backward chair, you know? Look how cool I look.
I never sat in a backward chair.
And he's doing it now. You've got it. That's it. That's
Just
it.
leave it.
Well, you're starting to make it ridiculous.
Brad, you try. I feel like you'd be good at this.
I don't even know what you described. Okay, so what am I doing here?
Your photo stance.
Hand on your hip with a claw. A claw.
My claw's not big enough
The
to get around my hip.
Yeah. What if our hips are too big for our claw?
My hips don't lie.
Oh my gosh.
If you
Claw.
do,
None of that, Brad. No hands behind the back. Awkward dad stance. Because that's weird.
Awkward dad stance.
That's parade rest.
Yeah, no parade rest.
What?
Annie,
like
what do
a
you think about
off-duty security
boys with the
officer
hands on the
pose.
hips? What do you think they should do? Do you think it's different?
So I don't know if this is a hot take or if this is the overriding opinion, but I think that guys who look like they're posing are doing it. Honestly, the more you're like, yeah, I'll stand here and take a picture, the more I'm better with it. Me, I want to look thin. I need to work all the angles and I've had 4 kids. I'm working hard. I'm exercising. I'm doing the best I can, except for this Diet Mountain Dew. Don't worry about that. And I just want to present myself in a way that it makes me feel good. And I am so in my head about it when I'm taking a picture. It's just, it's a disaster area. What are you doing?
Nothing.
No, don't take my picture. Like I'm big on do not, because it's going to make me feel really uncomfortable.
Can we all just agree that the best pictures are ones where everybody goes, get together, and everybody squeezes together like, hey.
Yeah.
And then the person takes a shot that is about 5 times too wide.
Yeah.
And the whole edge of the picture is nobody in it, and everybody's squished into this tiny little blob in the middle.
Very not COVID.
Those are the best.
Every Monday at my gym, we take a picture after boot camp and lifting class, and it always is so like uncentered and fuzzy.
We all have that same problem from our pictures from Monday at boot camp, right, guys?
Fix it in post.
It's just a burden.
I know boot camp pics are the worst.
I know. You're all sweaty. You work so hard for so long. It's for the people, though. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. The Mark Reardon Show.
Schmitt Dogan is back with us this afternoon.
I think there's just so many people who've held on to a mask as kind of a symbol of being a good person, and it's not.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
CAJonesInc.com is the website when you were looking to build a home in the Metro East, and I'm talking across the Metro East, folks. You need to check out C.A. Jones. Now, there's a lot of different home builders that you can choose from, of course. I understand that. A lot of good ones, too. But I want to talk to you about C.A. Jones and why you might consider choosing them. The focus that they have, top to bottom, on the usage of space. I've walked through these homes, and every single new home that I walk through, I think at least two of the four that I walked through were spec homes. The other 2 were homes that were built for somebody specifically, and they just hadn't finished it quite yet. The way that they utilize space is so smart. And it's every time I walk through one, it catches me off guard that they've thought of something new. And they work with you to customize these different layouts that they have. You can look at the blueprints online and see the different layouts that they have: small homes, big homes, ones with finished basements. You can have it finished top to bottom, or you can get, the bare minimum done to get into the home and finish the rest of it later. You are going to be able to have the home of your dreams if you go with C.A. Jones. Reach out to them online at cajonesinc.com.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage. As we go into a new year, it is a great time to get started on a new home loan. If you've been thinking about a cash-out refinance to pay off debt or update your home, act now while equity is at an all-time high and interest rates are still at historic lows. Maybe it's the year that you're going to reduce your term or get rid of the dreaded PMI. Perhaps this is the year that you buy a new home. Call me now so you can shop with confidence. When you call, there will be no gimmicks or sales pitch, just straightforward, upfront information on refinancing and home buying options. So call me today, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224-143, NMLS 250353.
This is a place where your daily experience is the focus. A stunning locale of exceptional care and attention, where community comes together and new friendships form, where activities are limitless and amenities unsurpassed, and where you are surrounded by excellence. This is Allegro Richmond Heights, assisted living, memory care. Live beautifully. For a tour, call 314-202-5989 or visit allegroliving.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your furnace ready for cold weather with a heating system check included with all maintenance plans from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month. For more details, get in your comfort zone at aircomfortservice.com.
Up-to-the-minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Yeah, yelling's getting loud. Keep it down now.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Around this town. Keep it down now. Keep it down now. Noise is closing in from all sides, warning all the ways to die. They say you better give up, you better give up. I'll be an army, no.
Fox News update. Russia could attack Ukraine at any time.
Yeah, which is technically true all the time.
I know. They're not wrong.
No, they're not. They're saying the Pentagon said that, though. So the Pentagon also technically right here.
That's good.
U.S. could attack Canada at any time. Also true.
Be careful. Usually the Canada jokes, they're obviously funny because it's Canada.
Yeah, but not right now. I know.
Do you care more about what's going on in Canada or Russia, Ukraine right now, or is it impossible to choose?
Canada.
Same.
It's just even though it's not America, it just feels much closer to something that could be happening here. And kind of is. I mean, with the truck convoy, it is happening here.
I'm declaring wokeism over.
Okay, all done. Thanks, Annie.
Wokeism could be done at any time.
What took you so
long? Good job.
Cool. I mean, think about your real life. Hannah, I'd be curious, like, your experience with your friends who are in a different life stage than we are in our age. We're aging. Mostly Ryan.
Super funny every time.
It is.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Hope you're having a good time.
Are you?
No.
Okay. I'll use up. I don't want you to get soft.
Yeah, thanks. Just as iron sharpens iron.
Do you feel, Hannah, like, there's a super sensitivity that is being thrust upon everybody. You have to be super sensitive to the woes of other people that you know nothing about. And if you traipse across these sensitivities with zero negative intention, if you do that, you are still 100% responsible, not just for your lack of sensitivity, but also for what your ancestors have done to contribute to that sensitivity that you didn't think of. It's so broad and ridiculous and inescapable, which is really the part that really just frosts my cookies. Do you feel like people that are in your generation right now are super sensitive? Because I feel like they're being raised to be that way.
Yeah, I definitely think everybody in my generation is sensitive and nobody feels like they can have conversation. Like nobody can even learn anything because nobody's allowed to talk to one another without being canceled or
So Hannah, do you believe that have they bought into it, or are they are they that way because they're just afraid to get in trouble? You know the difference of what I'm saying?
not really. I think they are sensitive because that's really like the easy way to go right now is just to fall into the sensitivity that everybody else has.
Mhm. Brian, do you think that people, I mean, the way I feel about our generation is that 98% of the people are not interested in upsetting anybody. Nobody wants to make anybody feel bad. We understand the history that has brought our country to where it is right now. And there are a lot of sins of our past that we also have great triumphant stories of generations who have overcome those same sins. And while it doesn't erase what took place, I'm proud of where we are now. I'm proud of where I feel like we could be heading. But the majority of people our age, I think, are quiet because it's exhausting to try to be outspoken, and it's frightening to risk putting yourself out there and potentially saying something the wrong way, not at all intending to do so, and then getting lambasted for it.
You know, that kind of gets lost in this whole thing, doesn't it? We have a shared value across political ideologies as Americans, probably as Westerners, but certainly as Americans, that we don't want to hurt people's feelings. That's not a bad thing.
It's intention.
That's okay.
And wokeism, the foundation of implementing a woke culture is to remove 100% of anybody's intention, because wokeism says this is how it is. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. Doesn't matter what you think about it. Whatever you think or know about it, you need to understand how it really is, Ryan. And if you divert from that, you're part of the problem. So shut up and listen to what we have to tell you. And, we can go from there. Your intention, or if you were to discuss it, is actually part of the problem.
Yeah, and it's not tolerance for sure. That's the opposite of tolerance. It kills curiosity, and it really kills multicultural societies because you can't blend. You try to, you want to. I want to learn more about your culture, even if it's not a different racial culture. Maybe it's a subculture of people who do a certain thing, like they collect a certain thing, and I want to find out about more of them. It just kills you from asking questions because you think, I'm going to offend somebody. And obviously, racial issues are like at the most glaring, you're most concerned about that. But across the board, people just don't get outside their bubble as much because they're afraid of offending somebody and hurting somebody's feelings or getting canceled themselves.
The people, what wokeism does to our society is it allows whoever is in power, the power structure, to determine a set understood, not agreed upon, but an understood, list of facts or presumed to be facts. And then what wokeism does is it retains the power of information and the dissemination or the discussion of information by permitting people to talk about things and permitting certain people to talk about things and keeping others from talking about things, which means that we are automatically divided. And if we are automatically divided, then who retains that power? It's those people who control words. I mean, literal what words you can and can't say, and who can predetermine your intention just by virtue of me looking at you, Ryan, and seeing that you're a white man. I already know that inherently in your body and blood and skin, you have a specific intention that you cannot set aside.
You know what's interesting? A couple years ago, actually, it's more like 15 years ago now, because I was in a college and career group at the time, and there was a song I really liked that was in Indian, not Native American, but Indian.
Godier?
No, it was not. That sounds Indian. No, this was a song that was fully in another language, and I assumed it was Indian. So I I was like, I really like this song. I sing it. I don't know what I'm singing though. And there was a person who was Indian in this career group that I was in. And I went and asked him, I said, can you just tell me what this song is saying? That guy was so thankful that I was asking him something about himself, just about his culture. And it was pretty innocuous, but it was like he was begging for somebody to do that because nobody would. And so it puts people in these bubbles, and because everybody's afraid to ask questions like that. Oh, I'm going to offend him. No, 95% of people, they're not going to be offended. They actually want to hear those things. I don't know if
people could ask questions like that anymore. Like, I feel like...
you can.
You can, but...
You can.
That's what we're told. And what you're saying is what we're told.
And Hannah, that's perfect point to wrap the show up, because you can ask those questions. And if you ask them to somebody who wants to drapes on top of you for being a terrible person and doesn't and is predetermining your intentions for you, don't have that conversation with that person. Find somebody else who does, because somebody is waiting for that question to be asked. Because the Indian culture should be celebrated for being Indian culture. It shouldn't be morphed into something that somebody else approves. And your culture, whatever your culture is right now, is the same thing. That it is, different cultures do not predetermine hate, and it will become that way if we hand over that power because we keep our mouths shut. It's $2.56. Donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinal. Is the Mark Green Show coming up next.
Don't you wish fixing your car was simple? Mark Cox here. Today, cars have more tech than the first spaceship that went to the moon. It's guaranteed something's going to break. That's why I have a protection plan through CarShield. When